Chapter 328. Hearing Tsing Hui's words, Ji Guang, Du Xin, Xing Ji, and Lu Qilong, the Grand Supreme Elder of the False Pellet Stage, were stunned. How is that possible? How can you defeat the sacrificial flame? The elders shook their heads. Lu Qilong, the Grand Supreme Elder of the False Pellet Stage, waved his hand and stopped them. Since it's an agreement, we can give you 10 Red Sun secret treasures, if you can do it. It's not easy to make the Red Sun wheel, but after thousands of years of accumulation, the Great Sun Divine Palace has dozens of them. We can give you 10 of them, and we can promise you that you have the priority to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. But what if you can't do it? If I can't do it, I only need to use 5 of the 15 days to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade and comprehend the 10 suns burning sky. Lu Qilong, Ji Guang, and Xing Ji looked at each other and nodded. Okay, we promise you. After a while, Lu Qilong said, Now, can you tell us where your confidence in defeating the sacrificial flame comes from? Tsing Hui thought for a while and decided to tell them the truth. The chaos inheritance I received was at the 20th level, and the chaos I inherited was at the 10th level. 10th level? Xing Ji's eyes widened. He immediately understood what Tsing Hui was referring to. The divine technique? The divine technique that the 10th level Son of Chaos received that can raise one's cultivation by 1 level? Yes. Tsing Hui nodded. It's a divine technique that can raise one's cultivation by 1 level? The divine technique can raise his cultivation to the true energy realm for a short period of time. True energy realm cultivation, divine grade golden crow combat body, and the divine grade divine weapon that he got by luck should be at the 9th level. The elders looked at each other and didn't say anything for a while. Lu Qilong's face also showed a bitter smile. I have considered all the factors that need to be considered, but I have neglected the divine art that can turn the situation around. It seems that we have lost the bet before it has even begun. Sigh. If there is a divine technique, then the sacrificial flame is indeed inferior to you. No wonder you are somewhat unwilling. The throne of first place is already within your reach, but you are still willing to give it to the sacrificial flame. It must be difficult for you. Star Sacrificial Tao. Tsing Hui smiled. It doesn't matter. As long as I can fully comprehend the 10 suns burning the heavens immortal technique, I think it's worth it. In fact, before the start of the battle, I didn't think that I would have a chance to compete for first place. After all, no matter how powerful the divine technique is, it can only be used once to determine a victory. Haha, that's great. Dongyang, you don't have to use your divine technique to fight with the sacrificial flame. We'll trust you. Is it the Scarlet Sun Wheel that supports the 10 suns burning sky? Just leave it to us. You have 8 victories, Yihua has 9, and Dao Wuya only has 7. The rankings of the 2 of you are pretty much set. Therefore, you should prepare to conserve your energy and comprehend the Fortune Jade. The effect of the Fortune Jade is the best at the beginning, but it will decrease gradually. Although the decrease is slow, it is indeed the case that those who comprehend it first will be able to comprehend more skills. Lu Qilong laughed and said. Hearing this, Tsing Hui was slightly startled. He quickly cupped his hands and said, Thank you, Grand Elder. Beside them, Xing Ji could not help but sigh emotionally when he heard the conversation between the 2 of them. Back then, when you made the deal with us, we thought that 5 days of comprehension time for the creation divine jade was your limit. We never expected that you would actually be able to obtain the 2nd position. Whether or not I can secure the 2nd throne will depend on Taoist brother Lu Jianhua. If Taoist brother Lu Jianhua can defeat Dao Wuya, my 2nd throne will be secured. If Taoist brother Lu Jianhua loses, even if he loses, the 3 of you will have 8 victories and 1 loss each. With the power of your divine technique, it won't be hard for you to defeat him. Elder Ji Guang said with a smile. Tsing Hui nodded. Then, tomorrow, Ihwa will battle with Dongyang. Dongyang will admit defeat. Then, Ihwa will battle with Dao Wuye to determine the first and second place. That's how it should be. The elders of the Great Sun Divine Palace came to a consensus. On the other hand, Qing Su had achieved his objective indirectly, so he smiled. The 10 suns burning the heavens immortal technique required 81 great sun crystals to be refined into a scarlet sun wheel using a special method. Only then could the 10 suns burning the heavens immortal technique be unleashed to the extreme. A scarlet sun wheel corresponded to one of the scorching suns of the 10 suns burning the heavens immortal technique. Without these 10 scarlet sun wheels, the 10 suns burning the heavens immortal technique would still be powerful, but it would not be able to achieve the boundless divine might of a saint realm expert's domain. The materials used to refine these 10 scarlet sun wheels were not precious. The key was that they were not easy to refine and took up a lot of time and energy. This could be seen from the fact that the Great Sun Divine Palace only had a few dozen scarlet sun wheels. Even if the Great Sun Divine Palace wanted to take out 10 scarlet sun wheels at once, it wouldn't be easy. The night passed quickly. With the dawn of the second day, the grand creation banquet finally ushered in the crucial moment of revealing the first place. Unlike before, when Qing Su appeared as a representative of the Burning Sky sect, countless gazes looked towards him at the same time. There were those who doubted him, those who looked down on him, those who looked down on him, those who looked down on him, those who admired him, and those who envied him. There was no need to list all of them. However, Tsing Hui's expression didn't change much in the face of these people's gazes. It was as if he didn't care about their gazes. When this scene fell into the eyes of many seniors and elders, they secretly nodded. Ignoring everything else, just Qing Su's mental state of mind that was as immovable as a mountain was praiseworthy. If it were anyone else, they would definitely not be able to remain as composed as they were right now under the gazes of countless people. The grand creation banquet continued as usual. Elder Du Sin went on stage and directly announced the start of the grand creation banquet. Then, Lu Jihua jumped up and his gaze fell on Tsing Hui. Under the faint, expectant gazes of the crowd, he stretched out his hand to Tsing Hui and said, "Brother Dong Yang is definitely the biggest dark horse in this grand creation banquet. You have brought unexpected surprises to everyone, especially the Golden Crow divine body that Brother Dong Yang has cultivated. It is even more amazing. I am very curious about the power of the Golden Crow divine body. I wonder if Brother Dong Yang can help me?" Tsing Hui seemed to have already rehearsed with Lu Jihua. He smiled and said, "The reason why I can reach this level today is all because of luck. I know my own true abilities very well. I am definitely not Brother Jihua's opponent. Therefore, I am willing to admit defeat." After Tsing Hui finished speaking, the crowd was in an uproar. Many boos sounded in the air above the grand creation banquet. Obviously, based on the relationship between Tsing Hui and the Great Sun Divine Palace, they had already guessed the reason behind Tsing Hui's admission of defeat. Silence. Silence. Hearing the chaotic atmosphere in the arena, Du Sun immediately channeled his true origin energy and shouted, suppressing the voices of the crowd, "Since Elder Dong Yang of the Burning Sky sect has already admitted defeat, then Elder Dong Yang's score of 9 battles is 8 wins and 1 loss. As for the remaining battle between Lu Jihua and Dao Wuye, it will be the final battle to determine the number 1 person of the Fortune Grand Assembly. Lu Jihua, do you want to apply for a day of rest or continue to challenge?" "Naturally, I want to continue to challenge." Lu Jihua's gaze turned towards Dao Wuye in the 3 clear sects direction. "Brother Wuye, it's time for the 2 of us to decide who is better. If you defeat me, you still have a chance to compete for the number 1 spot. If you lose, there will be no more hope. I have been waiting for this day for a long time. You guys borrowed Dong Yang's strength to weaken me and Nan Tiando's strength time and time again. Do you really think that you can firmly occupy the number 1 spot? naive. I will definitely not let a despicable person like you continue to occupy our fortune mainland's supreme divine item. Dao Wuya stood up and leaped onto the platform. The atmosphere of the final battle was about to erupt. However, this battle was already meaningless to Tsing Hui. With a leap, he returned to the burning sky sex area. Seeing Tsing Hui's return, Rockhart sighed, feeling a sense of loss in his heart. Even though Tsing Hui was not a member of the Burning Sky sect, he was still using the Burning Sky sect's name to participate in the Fortune Grand Banquet. Moreover, he only needed to win one more battle to defeat Lu Jihua, and he would be able to obtain the number 1 spot in the Fortune Grand Banquet, becoming the first disciple in the history of the Burning Sky sect to obtain the number 1 spot in the Fortune Grand Banquet. However, at the moment when he was so close to obtaining the number 1 spot, he gave up. Once he gave up, the entire Burning Sky sect could forget about obtaining the number 1 spot in the Fortune Grand Banquet for the rest of their lives. In just a short moment, she had already put away those unrealistic thoughts in her heart. Even though Tsing Hui had missed out on the number 1 spot, if Lu Jihua could defeat Dao Wuya, the number 2 spot would definitely belong to Tsing Hui. If he could obtain the number 2 spot, everyone in the Burning Sky sect would thank the heavens and pray to Buddha. After all, the Burning Sky sect's best result in history had never been to enter the top 10, let alone the top 3 and obtain the number 2 spot. On the battle stage, the battle between Lu Jihua and Dao Wuya quickly erupted. In order to prevent any accidents and ensure that nothing went wrong, not only did the Grand Elders of the Great Sun Divine Palace personally appear and guard the battle stage, but even the 3 Purities sect also sent experts to stand outside the battle stage. If anything happened to Dao Wuya on the battle stage, or if the Great Sun Divine Palace tried to interfere with the fairness of the battle, they would immediately step in to stop them. Unfortunately, the accident did not happen. Lu Jihua had won consecutively and his fighting spirit was high. His aura had already accumulated to the extreme. On the other hand, Dao Wuya's spirit had already been thwarted by Tsing Hui. In his heart, the outcome of this battle was extremely important. Carrying the burden of his spirit, he could not unleash his full strength at all. The completely different state of mind caused the originally evenly matched opponents to reveal the outcome of the battle in just a short moment. After a battle that lasted close to 2 hours, Lu Jihua's advantage continued to accumulate and expand. At the crucial moment, he managed to secure victory with 1 strike. With 1 victory, Lu Jihua's record of 9 victories secured him the number 1 spot in the Grand Assembly. Behind him was Tsing Hui, who had only lost to Lu Jihua for a short while. With 8 wins and 1 loss, he was in second place. Dao Wuya had lost to Tsing Hui and Lu Jihua consecutively. With 7 wins and 2 losses, he was in third place. Nan Tiando, who originally had the chance to compete for the number 1 spot in the Grand Assembly, did not even make it into the top 3 this time. Even though the 4th spot was definitely his, other than sounding good, there was no real benefit to it. The time to study the Fortune Jade and the 11th item was only 5 days. The remaining 5th, 6th, and the rest of the rankings still needed a few days to be ranked. For example, those with 5 wins and 4 losses would have to fight against those with 5 wins and 4 losses to determine the ranking. However, the number of people paying attention to these rankings was obviously not as high as before. It could be said that after the battle between Lu Jihua and Dao Wuya, the Grand Assembly of Fortune had come to an end. Just like that, after a few more days, the top 10 of the Grand Assembly of Fortune had finally been decided. The ranking round of the Grand Assembly of Fortune had come to an end. Next, it was time to activate the Fortune Jade and allow the top 10 Heaven's favorites to study it. Chapter 329. Haha, the Fortune Jade this time will be in the hands of our Great Sun Divine Palace again. Xingji, Ji Guang, Lu Qilong, and the other elders all smiled. They constantly clasped their hands towards the great elders, palace lords, and sect masters of the supreme sections. Even though the supreme sects were displeased that they had failed to obtain a satisfactory ranking, they did not show it in order to maintain their composure. They still reluctantly agreed with Xing Ji and the others. After exchanging greetings, the representatives of the top 10 sects finally arrived before Xing Ji. They were led to the palace where the fortune jade was stored under Xing Ji's lead. The palace was located at the very core of the Great Sun Divine Palace. There were 5 courtyards around the palace, and the remaining 5 sects would stay in these courtyards. On one hand, it was to ensure that the fortune jade was safe. On the other hand, they could keep an eye on their juniors to prevent any accidents from happening. As Xing Ji activated the fortune jade under the witness of the great elders of the various sects, the fortune gathering had reached the most crucial stage. All right, the fortune jade has been activated. Next, it's time to comprehend it. Xing Ji's gaze swept over the crowd below. Even though the fortune gathering had decided on 10 prodigies, allowing the sects behind them to gain the right to comprehend the fortune jade, this did not mean that the time to comprehend the fortune jade would belong to the chosen prodigy. To ensure fairness, every sect would choose 1 or 2 successors to accompany them. As a result, in the past 3 months, the number of cultivators who would be able to comprehend the fortune jade was not 10. Instead, there were 44 people. According to the rules, any sect can freely choose who to comprehend the fortune jade and when to comprehend it within their own time limit. Our Great Sun Divine Palace's prodigy, Lu Jihua, has luckily obtained first place in this gathering, so the first person to comprehend it will naturally be someone from our Great Sun Divine Palace, Xing Ji said. As Xing Ji said that, he looked at Qing Su and smiled faintly. All right, Elder Ji Guang, take Dongyang to comprehend the wonders of the fortune jade. He can spend 11 days in there. An uproar rang out from the crowd as soon as he said that. However, when they thought of the various incidents during the battle between Xing Hui and Lu Jihua, the discussion died down after a while. Only the elders of the other 5 sects snorted unhappily. However, they did not say anything about it since it was within the rules. It was not like they had not done something like this in the past. Thank you, Palace Lord. Qing Su heaved a sigh of relief inside when he saw Xing Ji keeping his word. He was really afraid that Xing Ji would go back on his word and take away his qualification as the first person to comprehend the fortune jade. Even though he could still comprehend the fortune jade according to his ranking, that would be a waste of a month's time. In terms of Taoist rhymes, it would be over 300 points. You've done a great service for our Great Sun Divine Palace, so we naturally can't let you down. Alright, Elder Ji Guang, take Dongyang in. Yes, Palace Lord. Ji Guang nodded and gestured at Xing Hui. Elder Dongyang, please follow me. Thank you, Elder Ji Guang. Xing Hui said and followed Ji Guang into the hall. This scene made the other cultivators extremely jealous, especially Go Chen of the Purple Cloud Palace and Nan Tiando of the Primordial sect. Their faces were filled with gloom. Bastard, I don't believe that you will be able to comprehend anything from the 11 days of comprehension of the fortune divine jade. Don't let me meet you alone outside the Great Sun Divine Palace, otherwise, I will make you beg for death. Go Chen gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with hatred. Nan Tiando also clenched his fists tightly as he glared at Qing Su who had stepped into the palace. If it weren't for the fact that there were so many grand elders of the various sects watching them and that martial arts were not allowed in the Good Fortune Temple, violators would have been stripped of their qualifications and would never be able to use the fortune jade again. Otherwise, he probably would not have been able to hold himself back and would have made that kid truly understand the power of his star bead. Dongyang, you've ruined my opportunity. This matter won't end so easily. The other proud sons of heaven were more or less dissatisfied with Dongyang, who had mostly relied on luck to win second place in the Grand Assembly. However, since this matter was already a foregone conclusion, the decision of the Supreme Elders was not something that the juniors of the sect could refute. They could only suppress this dissatisfaction and resentment in their hearts, waiting for an opportunity to take revenge in the future and wash away their shame. Looking at Qing Su, who had vanished from the entrance of the palace, Du Sun said in a rather strange manner, "Palace Master, the effects of the fortune jade gradually weaken after it's activated. Although the weakening isn't obvious, according to our research, the mysteries of the fortune jade when it's activated are almost twice as dense as 3 months later. Even if Dongyang has only been studying the fortune jade for 11 days, the mysteries of the fortune jade will probably have weakened by more than 10% by the time the sacrificial flame starts to comprehend the fortune jade. We've already given him 10 scarlet sun discs, which is more than enough to make up for the loss he suffered when he admitted defeat during the battle. Why are you giving away the best opportunity to comprehend the fortune jade? I've also considered this matter, but we can't just focus on the present. We have to think about the future. According to my understanding, this Dongyang isn't too old. If he can break through to the true element boundary in the next Fortune Grand Assembly, it's highly likely he'll take first place again. If we go back on our word and disappoint him, I'm afraid he won't be willing to help our great Sun Divine Palace in the next Fortune Grand Assembly," Renhua said. Hearing this, Du Sun was slightly enlightened. "I see. Palace Master is far-sighted. Du Sun can't compare. Haha, it's reasonable that you didn't consider this. It's only 11 days. Our great Sun Divine Palace can still afford to wait." Du Sun nodded and didn't say anything more. Inside the palace, under the guidance of Ji Guang, he quickly came to a specially built cultivation room. In this room, which had almost no exits, the fortune jade was placed. Outside the room, Xing Hui sensed 6 obscure and tyrannical auras. Without exception, these 6 auras were all never-ending realm experts with endless true essence. Dongyang, the fortune jade has been completely activated. In a while, you can directly step into the cultivation room to meditate on the fortune jade. If you want to stop meditating or have other needs, just ring the bell in the cultivation room. Someone will come to meet your needs. According to the rules, you can't leave the cultivation room for 11 days. Understand? I understand. Xing Hui nodded. The fortune jade was a supreme treasure of the Fortune Mainland. Naturally, the people of the Fortune Mainland placed great importance on its safety. With a single glance, one could tell that this cultivation room was filled with countless formations. If a cultivator wanted to enter and leave without alerting anyone, it was simply a fool's dream. Time is of the essence. I won't disturb you from meditating on the fortune jade. I hope that in these 11 days, you can advance the 10 suns burning the heavens' immortal art to 3, 4, or even 5 days. You can bring glory to our great Sun Divine Palace's 10 suns burning the heavens' immortal art. Elder Ji Guang, don't worry. I will do my best. And go. We're going to open the cultivation room's door and activate the formation. Don't worry, no one will disturb you during this period. You can focus on comprehending the immortal art. Yes. Xing Hui nodded and stepped into the cultivation room. The moment he entered the cultivation room, the 3-meter-thick door that was made of an unknown material was opened. At the same time, various formations were activated and activated. In an instant, the entire cultivation room was impregnable. Not to mention a prominent divine realm cultivator like Xing Hui, even if those endless divine realm experts stood outside the cultivation room and attacked for 3 days and 3 nights, they wouldn't be able to do anything to the cultivation room. Finally, it's time to reap the harvest. Xing Hui slowly walked forward and arrived in front of the fortune jade fragment. This fortune jade was extremely small. It was only half the size of a sunflower seed. It could barely be made into the surface of a ring. The surface of the jade was purple in color. Due to the activation of the formation, purple light flowed on the surface of the jade. It looked deep and profound, as if there was a mysterious dark purple universe hidden inside. Just a glance at it would cause one's mind to be immersed and mesmerized. As expected, this is the incomplete part of the Fortune Divine Jade that I have. Xing Hui walked forward and came to the side of the fortune jade. When he arrived in front of the fortune jade, a notification from the Chaos Temple sounded in his mind. Discovered treasure carrying the Tao. It contains 899 Tao auras. Do you wish to fuse it? Hiss. Hearing the notification from the Chaos Temple, even though Xing Hui was mentally prepared, he was still secretly shocked by this terrifying number. 899. With just a little bit more Tao aura, it would be equivalent to 9 Chaos grades. It must be known that the Great War that had broken out in the Divine Wilderness continent back then was only formed by a treasure carrying the Tao that contained thousands of Tao auras. In that war, countless invincible Divine Realm experts had fought and countless almighty experts had fallen. Even among the invincible Divine Realm experts, more than half of them had died in that war. A small portion of them had died because their injuries were too severe. It was because of that war that countless inheritances in the Divine Wilderness had been severed and countless top sons of chaos had died. Even the Divine Wilderness spirit veins had been destroyed by that war, causing the cultivation world of the Divine Wilderness to gradually decline. The 899 Tao auras in the Fortune Jade could not be compared to the treasure carrying the Tao that had broken the Divine Wilderness continent. However, once it was exposed, even almighty experts or invincible Divine Realm experts would not hesitate to take action and completely take it for themselves. Xing Hui took a deep breath and suppressed the churning thoughts in his mind. He immediately held the Fortune Jade in his hand. When the Fortune Jade entered his hand, the Fortune Jade in his mind trembled slightly and emitted a kind of summoning fluctuation. Under the influence of this fluctuation, the Fortune Jade in Xing Hui's hand seemed to be attracted by some strange force. It seemed like it was about to fuse with the Fortune Jade in his mind that no longer had a substance. This is not a good place to fuse with the Fortune Jade. Once someone in the Great Sun Divine Palace can confirm whether the Fortune Jade is still in the Great Sun Divine Palace's territory, it won't be easy for me to leave safely after I fuse with it. Qing Su forcefully suppressed the urge of the Fortune Jade in his spiritual world to fuse with the Fortune Jade in his hand. He immediately focused his attention on the teleportation technique in the Chaos Temple's interface. Fortune Continent? In the future, I will return. Purple Firmament Palace's Gauchen, Grand Beginning Sex Nantian Do, 3 Clear Sex Boundless Tao. You're not willing to admit defeat in the Fortune Grand Banquet? When the time comes, I will let you understand the true difference between us. Then goodbye. Whoosh! In the next moment, the transmission technique was activated and a vast and mysterious energy quickly wrapped around Xing Hui's body, bringing him into some kind of high-dimensional space. It did not disturb the formation outside the cultivation room at all, and just like that, it disappeared from the cultivation room. The Fortune Jade is finally in my hands. Sword cultivators of the Sword Union, don't forget to cast your recommendation vote. Writing a book is not easy. Please let Chengfen see everyone's support. Chapter 330. Great Sun Divine Palace. Outside the cultivation room where the Fortune Jade was, Xing Ji, Ji Guang, Lu Qilong, and Lu Jihua brought Lu Jihua, the real winner of the fortune gathering, to the cultivation room. Looking at the closed door, Lu Qihua couldn't help but frown. He turned to Ji Guang and said, 11 days have passed, right? If we count in terms of hours, the 11 days haven't passed yet, but if we count in terms of days, the 11 days have passed. Ji Guang said, Since the 11 days have passed, what are we waiting for? Ask Dong Yang to come out. He has already occupied the most advantageous 11 days. If he has a good comprehension of the 10 suns incineration, he should have finished it long ago. If he can't comprehend the mystery of the 10 suns incineration, it's just a waste of time to let him continue. Ji Guang, go, ring the doorbell and ask him to come out. Lu Qihua said impatiently. Yes, Elder. Ji Guang answered and rang the doorbell outside the cultivation room. However, there was no response. Xingji was slightly startled and said doubtfully, "Could it be that Dong Yang has reached the most critical moment of comprehending the Ten Suns incineration and is completely immersed in comprehending the Ten Suns incineration and didn't hear the doorbell? How is that possible? The doorbell outside the gate is not a simple bell, but a calming bell, a magical secret treasure. He can hear it even if he's in a critical situation, let alone comprehending the Ten Suns incineration immortal technique. Humph, this kid has become a little ignorant in the face of benefits. There are only a few hours left until the 11 days are completely up. What's more, we're already here to ask him to come out. Why should he waste time occupying the Fortune Divine Jade? Just raise the gate." This, Ji Guang hesitated for a moment, but when he thought of the relationship between Lu Jihua and Lu Qilong, he didn't disobey Elder Lu Qilong's order. He immediately performed a series of incantations to open the outer formation. Then, he pressed a mechanism and the heavy gate slowly rose with a soft sound, revealing the space inside the cultivation room. And inside the cultivation room, it was empty. Ji Guang, Lu Qilong, Lu Jihua, and Xing Ji's expressions changed at the same time, and they rushed in immediately. Where is he? Where did Dong Yang go? Fortune Divine Jade? Where is the Fortune Divine Jade? Come, men! Shouts rang out at the same time. The moment Ji Guang and the others opened the door and saw that there was no one in the cultivation room, the 6 Endless Realm experts guarding outside the cultivation room flew over at the same time. In an instant, they appeared outside the cultivation room. When they saw the empty cultivation room and the missing Fortune Divine Jade, their expressions changed drastically. What's going on? Where did our Fortune Mainland's Supreme Fortune Divine Jade go? Upon hearing the words of the 6 Tranquil Stage experts, Xing Ji abruptly turned his gaze to the Tranquil Stage Supreme Elders who represented different sections. I should be the one asking the few of you where the Fortune Divine Jade went. The few of you have been guarding outside the cultivation room. Don't tell me you don't know where Dong Yang took the Fortune Divine Jade? We've been waiting outside the cultivation room, constantly paying attention to the door of the cultivation room. This door hasn't been opened at all in the past 11 days. Not only has the door not been opened, even the array outside has not shown any signs of being activated. That's right. We didn't see the door open, and the array outside has been operating normally. When Xing Ji heard this, the anger in his heart grew even stronger. We didn't see anyone leave, and the array hasn't been activated. Buzz buzz! At this time, Lu Qilong pointed at the ground, and transparent blue waves suddenly spread in all directions with his finger as the center, covering a radius of hundreds of meters. After a while, he said with a gloomy expression, "No, other than the few of us, there are no signs of life within a few hundred meters." The other elders also used their own immortal arts to investigate the palace with the cultivation room as the center. However, the results they obtained in the end still made them shake their head. Dong Yang is a member of your great Sun Divine Palace. Now that the Fortune Divine Jade is in the territory of your great Sun Divine Palace, it's obvious that your great Sun Divine Palace wants to monopolize the Fortune Divine Jade. One of the supreme elders from the Three Pure sect, who had long criticized Xing Hui and Lu Qilong for occupying the first and second thrones, shouted angrily. Humph, the cultivation room is personally guarded by the supreme elders of the 6 supreme sections. Since our great Sun Divine Palace is so powerful, how can we steal the Fortune Divine Jade and Dong Yang from under the eyes of the 6 of you? Moreover, if our great Sun Divine Palace wants to monopolize the Fortune Divine Jade, we shouldn't do it in our own territory. Isn't that just making others suspicious? Lu Qilong said with dissatisfaction. The other supreme elders had also witnessed the entire matter with their own eyes. At the same time, they also felt that the great Sun Divine Palace wouldn't do such a thing in their own sect unless they felt that they could withstand the wrath of the other 5 supreme sections. Therefore, they didn't go along with the 3 Pure sects' supreme elder. Investigate. Investigate. Investigate for me. No matter what method we use, we have to find Dong Yang. The Fortune Divine Jade is the treasure of our Fortune mainland. Anyone who dares to touch the Fortune Divine Jade will become the enemy of the entire Fortune mainland. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we have to find Dong Yang. Damn it, I didn't think that this bastard would dare to steal the Fortune Divine Jade. If I catch him, I'll skin him alive and grind his bones to dust. Only then will I be able to vent the hatred in my heart. Mobilize the strength of all the sects on the Fortune mainland. Don't miss a single corner. As long as he's on the Fortune mainland, we'll definitely be able to find him. These Endless Realm experts represented the strength of the 6 supreme sects on the Fortune mainland. Not only were they responsible for guarding the Fortune Divine Jade, they were also the liaison between the sect that held the Fortune Divine Jade and the other sections. Very soon, the news had spread to their respective sections. In an instant, the entire Fortune mainland was in an uproar. The Fortune Divine Jade was one of the Fortune mainland's supreme treasures. The Fortune mainland's current glory was all thanks to the Fortune Divine Jade. Before the Fortune Divine Jade appeared, the strongest cultivator on the Fortune mainland was merely a true essence boundary cultivator. From this point alone, one could see how important the Fortune Divine Jade was to the Fortune mainland. But now the Fortune Divine Jade was actually lost. For all the cultivators on the Fortune mainland, it was as if the sky had collapsed. Countless people spontaneously began to investigate everyone, trying to find Dong Yang's whereabouts. For a time, the entire Fortune mainland was in a state of panic. Unfortunately, all of this had nothing to do with Tsing Hui for the time being. After experiencing the mysteries of the transmission technique once again, his figure appeared in his personal cultivation room on the Moon Lake Island. Even though this cultivation room was nowhere close to the cultivation room in the Great Sun God Palace in terms of scale and defenses, where it could only be described as crude before the cultivation room, Ching Su still felt a sense of familiarity from the bottom of his heart. Unknowingly, he had a sense of belonging to the Eastern Wasteland. Although he had always wanted to return to Earth, to see Jiang Ningji again, to fulfill his promise, and to reunite with his parents, family, and friends, but the Eastern Wasteland had already vaguely made him feel like a second home. I'm back. Tsing Hui looked at the simple and crude cultivation room that belonged to him completely. No one would dare to disturb him, and he slowly let out a sigh of relief. Thinking back to his experiences on the Fortune mainland in the past year, he couldn't help but feel a sense of fatigue in his heart. He was a stranger in a foreign land. In order to obtain the Fortune Divine Jade, he had racked his brains against the Purple Firmament Palace and the Great Sun Divine Palace. The amount of effort and energy he had spent during this period was indescribable. Fortunately, Tsing Hui slowly held the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand. Fortunately, he had successfully obtained the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand and used a teleportation technique to return safely. Feeling the strong sense of fusion between the Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world and the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand, Tsing Hui no longer suppressed this feeling. He also wanted to see how this material Fortune Divine Jade would enter his spiritual world and become a mysterious and obscure illusory existence. As Tsing Hui relaxed his desire to fuse with the Fortune Divine Jade, the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand suddenly emitted specks of purple light and fused with his body. Then, these specks of purple light seemed to turn illusory, shuttling back and forth in his body, and quickly condensing in the space between his eyebrows where his spiritual world was located. Then, the Fortune Divine Jade fused with his spiritual world. After absorbing these specks of purple light, the Fortune Divine Jade with 3 missing corners in his spiritual world gradually recovered. It was as if the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand had turned into purple light and dissipated. The Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world recovered by the same amount. One was illusory, one was real, and the other was illusory. This scene made Tsing Hui feel a little incredulous. How magical! Tsing Hui clicked his tongue and muttered to himself. However, this muttering only lasted for a moment, and his expression changed slightly. The Taoist rhyme value. That's not right. Tsing Hui glanced at the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand, and then sensed the Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world. He suddenly felt that the Chaos Temple's notification had changed completely. The Fortune Divine Jade in his hand, that contained 899 points of Taoist rhyme, kept turning into purple light and replenishing the Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world. The Taoist rhyme value was getting lower and lower. In just a moment, it was only left with 769 points of Taoist rhyme. However, after losing 769 points of Taoist rhyme, the Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world only increased by 13 points of Taoist rhyme. The conversion ratio was 1 to 10. The 10 points of Taoist rhyme in the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand could only be converted to 1 point of Taoist rhyme value in the Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world. This change made Tsing Hui quickly stop the fusion between the Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world and the Fortune Divine Jade in his hand. What's going on? Aren't they both Taoist rhymes? Why is the Fortune Divine Jade in my hand only left with 1 point of Taoist rhyme after being converted to the Fortune Divine Jade in my spiritual world? Tsing Hui's face was full of confusion. After carefully sensing the 2 pieces of Fortune Divine Jade in the illusory and real world, Tsing Hui had to admit that the Taoist rhyme ratio of the 2 pieces of Fortune Divine Jade was indeed 10 times different. Chapter 331. It's not worth it. Tsing Hui looked at the Fortune Jade in his hand. Originally, he wanted to wait for the 2 pieces of Fortune Jade to merge before using the Fortune Jade to comprehend the supreme immortal technique he had learned during this period of time. But now, after the Tao aura of the Fortune Jade in his hand had all fallen into the spiritual world, there were only 100 points left. How could he activate the Fortune Jade in his spiritual world? Stop merging and comprehend the immortal technique. Tsing Hui forcefully suppressed the feeling of the Fortune Jade in his spiritual world merging with the Fortune Jade in his hand. He began to use the Fortune Jade to comprehend the various immortal techniques he had learned during this period of time on the Fortune mainland. In the 1 year on the Fortune mainland, he had obtained a total of 7 immortal techniques, 2 artifact refining techniques, 2 secret treasures, and the Scarlet Sun Wheel that was required to support the supreme immortal technique, 10 Suns Burning Heavens. The 7 immortal techniques were Magic Arsenal, Reversal of Yin and Yang, Fasting Technique, 1 Qi into 3 Pure Ones, Soul Travel Technique, Star Shift Technique, and 10 Suns Burning Heavens. The 2 secret treasures were the Fire Resistance Pearl that could greatly reduce fire attribute damage, and the Earth Shaking Rod that could cause earthquakes and tsunamis. Among these immortal techniques, Tsing Hui had already comprehended the basics of Magic Arsenal. As for the remaining immortal techniques, Tsing Hui's gaze swept through them one by one and soon stopped on the 10 Suns Burning Heavens. If he could really comprehend this supreme immortal technique of the Great Sun Divine Palace with the help of the Fortune Jade, and with the help of the Scarlet Sun Wheel, it would definitely increase his battle strength in the prominent sage stage. At that time, with the strength of his divine grade battle physique, it would not be difficult for him to fight against true element stage experts who did not have divine grade battle physique. After recalling the 10 Suns Burning Heavens technique, Tsing Hui quickly took out the Fortune Jade and visualized the 10 Suns Burning Heavens technique. With the help of the many mysteries in the Fortune Jade, he began to deduce the 10 Suns Burning Heavens technique. After half an hour, Tsing Hui suddenly opened his eyes. Something's wrong. Although his progress in comprehending the 10 Suns Burning Heavens technique was extremely fast with the help of the Fortune Jade, it was more than 100 times faster than his own cultivation, but compared to the last time when he cultivated the Magic Arsenal Beam Transformation technique, the efficiency was much slower. Is it because the 10 Suns Burning the Heavens immortal technique is difficult to cultivate, or is it because of the fortune divine jade? Moments later, Tsing Hui's attention was focused on the immortal technique, casting bean soldiers. This celestial art had almost reached the initial success stage after his continuous comprehension. He was only one step away from the initial success stage. With the thought of verifying his conjecture, he quickly focused his mind and used the fortune divine jade in his hand to comprehend the cast bean soldier's celestial technique. Very soon another half an hour passed. Tsing Hui opened his eyes once more. This time, he was already able to confirm that it wasn't because the cultivation of the 10 burning heavens technique was difficult, but rather the fortune jade in his hand was indeed a lot less effective than the fortune jade in his spiritual world when it came to comprehending immortal spells. If he used the fortune jade in his spiritual world to cultivate, he could advance 1,000 miles in a day. Although the fortune jade in his hand still had a significant effect on immortal spells, the two were not on the same level at all. Earlier, he was still wondering why he could cultivate the magic arsenal technique in the time it took for an incense stick to burn with the help of the fortune jade. The people in this world also had fortune jades, and once they activated them, they could last for 3 months. Why were there so few people who could cultivate so many supreme, immortal spells to perfection? No. Not to mention perfection, it was rare to even reach the initial success stage. Those who could reach the initial success stage were usually some high-level immortal spells, or even ordinary immortal spells. Now it seemed that the problem was with the fortune jade. However, it was understandable. Compared to the fortune jade in his spiritual world, the one in his hand with a physical object was too small. It was reasonable that its effect was not as good as the one in his spiritual world. Looks like I have to be careful when using the Tao aura derived from the fortune jade in my spiritual world. When I use it, I have to focus on comprehending immortal spells. As for the consumption of Tao aura every day, I have to work on the Tao aura items I collect in the outside world, Tsing Hui muttered to himself. He faintly guessed that he was wasting a Tao aura derived from the fortune jade to increase his chaos level. However, he didn't regret it. If he didn't have the fortune jade to increase his chaos level every day, how could he reach the 30th level of chaos level? How could he cultivate to the prominent divine stage in just a few years, where his combat strength was not inferior to a saint stage expert? Without the prominent divine stage, he naturally wouldn't be able to stand out in the Fortune Mainland's Fortune Grand Banquet, not to mention the series of schemes that followed to successfully bring the Fortune Jade back to the Eastern Wasteland. Since the Fortune Jade in my hand has an ordinary auxiliary effect for immortal spells, I naturally can't waste the Tao aura in it on cultivating immortal spells. Tsing Hui glanced at the remaining 769 Tao aura points and quickly divided his consciousness into the Chaos Divine Palace's personal space. He took a step and appeared in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion in his personal space. As Tsing Hui's consciousness connected to the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, he couldn't help but be slightly stunned. It changed. Among the many treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, there were no longer the Qilin Baby, Boundary Stone, Dragon Ball, Star Stone, and so on. Instead, there were 10 completely different items. It has been more than a year since the Chaos Treasure Pavilion opened. It's reasonable that the items in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion have been replaced. As he thought about it, Tsing Hui couldn't wait to look at the first ice wall. Chaos Egg? An unborn divine beast Chaos Egg? This was good stuff. It cost 300 Tao aura. Tsing Hui could buy it. If he could sell it, it wasn't impossible for him to get a few hundred Tao aura points. However, he was so important that it would not be easy to sell him off. Even if he could earn a few dozen or 100 Taoist rhymes in profit, Qing Su's channel would not be able to sell him off easily. His only hope was to rely on Heaven's channel. Qing Su was not too willing to do something like owing someone a favor. Then, he looked at the second frozen wall. Primordial Spirit Chi? It was a normal treasure. However, what made Sing Hui's eyes light up was that there were 10 portions of primordial spirit qi. 10 portions of primordial spirit qi were sold for 100 Dao aura point. Coincidentally, Sing Hui needed time to train his mind to the 80th order. He bought all 10 portions of primordial spirit qi without hesitation. Next, the third ice wall, Sing Hui looked at it one by one. Without exception, most of these ice walls were precious treasures that Almighties would fight over. However, there were still 1 or 2 items that Sing Hui didn't know what they were used for. For example, the divine stainless water. It only stated that it could awaken remnant souls. However, his cultivation level, and even the cultivation level of the Heaven Wasteland domain, had yet to reach the level of the soul. There was also the whirling leaf, that could allow one to have an epiphany of Buddhist principles. In addition to these treasures that he didn't know what they were used for, there were also a few treasures that were expensive but difficult to sell. After weighing the pros and cons, Sing Hui didn't choose to buy the Egg of Chaos. Instead, he spent 100 Dao aura points to buy a non-falling flower and 60 Dao aura points to buy a bottle of divine, refined water. The non-falling flower was also known as the immortal flower. Its greatest effect was that it could extend anyone's life by 1,000 years. There were countless cultivators in the world, but how many of them could really cultivate the immortal golden core and live forever? In order to let their most important people live with them, those golden core experts tried all means to find elixirs that could extend their lives. The previous non-falling flower was sold for 186 Dao aura point. If his non-falling flower could still be sold at that price, it would be equivalent to a profit of 86 Dao aura point. As for the divine refined water, it was a treasure that Sing Hui had bought for himself. The divine refined water could cleanse the impurities in one's vital energy, making it easier for cultivators to compress their vital energy from a gaseous state to a liquid state and condense divine-grade vital energy. Although he was only at the middle stage of the prominent sage stage, he believed that it wouldn't take long for him to reach the peak stage of the prominent sage stage with the support of Tianqiong. He had already bought the divine refined water to prepare for condensing divine-grade vital energy. After spending 260 Dao aura points, I still have 409 Dao aura points left. Sing Hui looked at the creation divine jade in his hand that had dimmed by a bit. He pondered for a while and focused his attention on his chaotic level. Buzz buzz. After a while, his chaotic level had already rushed to the 31st level. After some consideration, he decided to focus on the recovery attribute. The divine golden crow battle body consumed too much of his vital energy. He was very curious to see what kind of changes would occur if his recovery ability was raised to the 10th level. With the surge of a special power, Qing Su could clearly sense his body change drastically from inside out. The activity of every single cell in his body seemed to have been forcefully increased by several times, making him feel like he was brimming with energy and limitless. 7th level recovery. Sing Hui glanced at it and focused his attention on the chaotic level again. 32nd level. Immediately after, he raised the recovery ability to the 8th level. The moment the recovery ability rushed to the 8th level, he clearly felt that his cells seemed to have undergone some kind of qualitative change. Originally, his cells could only divide 52 times, but at this moment, he seemed to have broken the shackles and evolved in a higher direction. 70 times, 80 times, 90 times, 100 times, 100 times, 100 times, 100 times, 100 times, 200 times. In the end, it stopped at 600 times, more than 10 times the previous 52 times. It should be noted that as a cultivator's cultivation level increased, the cell division cycle would also be extended, thus achieving the goal of prolonging one's life. An ordinary person's cells would usually divide once every 1 or 2 years. If there was any external interference, this division cycle would be shortened. However, due to the high activity of the cells of cultivators, the division cycle would usually be 5 or 6 years, or even longer. However, Tsing Hui was maintaining the cell division cycle and continuously increasing the limit of the cell division cycle. This meant that from now on, even in terms of lifespan, he would far surpass other cultivators of the same level. Now, as long as my injuries are not so serious that they affect my foundation, it should not be difficult for me to live for 2,000 or 3,000 years. My lifespan is longer than that of an expert who has cultivated the immortal golden pill. The key is the activity of my cells. Tsing Hui reached out and condensed his vital energy. He made a cut on his wrist, but this cut lasted for less than a breath. It had already turned pink, and in the next breath, it had already recovered to its original state. Unless my brain, heart, and other vital parts are smashed into pieces, even if my internal organs are burned, it will take less than half an hour to recover. As for piercing wounds, it will only take a few breaths. Of course, intense pain was still unavoidable. Tsing Hui's eyes flashed, and he focused his attention on the chaos level again. Continue. Raise the recovery ability to the 10th level in one go. Presented to you. The 34th level Son of Chaos, the 10th level recovery ability. In fact, Chungfin did not have a lot of chapters saved. He started writing at 8 in the morning and only finished at 7 in the evening. However, he did not let everyone down. Chapter 332. Level 33. Level 9 Recovery Characteristic. He was almost immortal. Even if his heart was crushed, he could recover in the time it took for an incense stick to burn. Then, level 34. The next moment, Tsing Hui's gaze focused on the recovery characteristic that he had upgraded from level 6 to level 9. The last level, the realm of rebirth from a drop of blood. Tsing Hui took a deep breath. Suddenly, the recovery characteristic of level 9 became blurry, and then it rushed to level 10. The moment his recovery characteristic rushed to level 10, he suddenly felt that his entire body seemed to have undergone an indescribable change. His body, he could faintly feel a brand new energy. A mysterious energy that was beyond the vitality of heaven and earth, beyond the vital energy and vital essence, and beyond the star power. He could not understand this energy, nor could he understand the reason for it, because his realm had not yet reached the level where he could understand the origin of this energy. However, after he really maxed out the recovery characteristic to level 10, this characteristic did indeed exist. Under the change of this characteristic, he faintly felt that he seemed to have transformed from a flesh and blood life form into an energy life form. He could freely reorganize his own form, even if he wanted to turn himself into stone, water, or vapor. It seemed that he could easily do it. But when he stroked his arm, his spiritual senses and the touch of his fingers told him that he was just a flesh and blood life form. Turn into vapor. That is to say, even if I am blown up by a punch and explode into a blood mist, as long as this blood mist still exists and has not been completely burned, I can still recover? Tsing Hui's expression was enlightened. At the same time, he also realized how terrifying the recovery characteristic was after it was upgraded to level 10. No wonder people said that level 10 personal space, level 10 recovery characteristic, and level 1 incarnation technique were equivalent to being immortal and indestructible. The recovery characteristic of this level could really achieve the realm of rebirth from a drop of blood. As long as he stored a drop of blood in his personal space, who could kill him? Not only the recovery of the body, but the recovery characteristics of vital energy and spirit have also been upgraded to an incredible level. Tsing Hui quickly took out the broken sword from his personal space. A moment later, he placed a portion of Yuan's spirit qi that he had prepared aside just in case. However, he quickly understood that he had been overthinking things. Although the sword intent within the broken sword had formed an extremely strong suppression on his spirit under the special characteristics of the 10th order recovery, His spirit's toughness and recovery ability had all been strengthened to an unimaginable degree. He had actually managed to resist the damage caused by the sword intent to his spirit. After a while, Tsing Hui put the broken sword aside and recuperated a little. His spirit had already recovered to its peak. Of course, the mental torture and exhaustion were not part of the recovery characteristic. Half an hour later, Tsing Hui opened his eyes again. His gaze immediately landed on the strand of Yuan Shen Qi in front of him. "It seems like I bought it for nothing. I don't have any use for it anymore," Tsing Hui murmured, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. However, Yuan Shen Qi had always been an extremely popular treasure in the Heaven Wasteland domain. 100 Dao runes to buy 10 strands of Yuan Shen Qi, so it should not be a problem to sell them for 200 Dao runes. From this point of view, the profit of these 10 strands of Yuan Shen Qi was above that of the unfalling flower. "I'll leave 3 strands of Yuan Shen Qi just in case, and sell the remaining 7 strands." Tsing Hui quickly made a decision. He had already tried the recovery of his physical body and spirit. Next was the recovery of vital energy. This training room was obviously not enough for him to use his vital energy to the fullest extent. He immediately stood up, pushed open the door of the training room, and came to the courtyard. The person guarding the door of the courtyard was Yun Tao, who was at the Unity of Spirit Qi stage. Seeing Tsing Hui, Yun Tao was slightly taken aback, and did not seem to react for a moment. After a while, his face revealed a look of surprise, and he hurriedly came up to Tsing Hui. "Alliance Master, you've come out of seclusion?" Tsing Hui nodded. "Well, I'm going to test the changes in my cultivation. I know that a lot of things have happened in the Life Moon Alliance this year. You go and gather the many elders of the Life Moon Alliance for a meeting. 3 days later, we will discuss the future development plan of the East Sea." "Yes, I'll go right away," Tsing Hui ordered, and did not stay any longer. Riding on his sword, he directly exploded with the fastest speed, and with an ear-piercing whistle, he tore through the clouds and disappeared into the horizon. In the past, if he flew at full speed, he could still feel the consumption of his vital energy. But at this moment, while his vital energy was being consumed, his body also seemed to be communicating with the mysterious energy that he could not describe, absorbing the mysterious energy into his body and transforming it into vital energy. As a result, his vital energy was always maintained at a perfect state. Flying at full speed is not affected? Then, if I were to fly at full speed and release my vital energy to block the wind? After Tsing Hui finished speaking, his vital energy circulated, and at the same time, his flying speed increased by another level. There was no consumption. There was still no consumption. No matter how much vital energy was consumed, his body would communicate with the mysterious energy to restore it. It was a domineering attitude of "I'll restore whatever your vital energy limit is." After a while, Tsing Hui did not know which sea region he had flown to, but he stopped. Just flying on his sword was not enough to test the limit of the recovery ability of the 10th rank. Then, rumble. Sword light continued to explode from Tsing Hui's hand, and the vital energy in his body was rapidly being consumed as he continuously slashed with his sword. Then, it was quickly replenished by the mysterious energy. After an hour, Tsing Hui stopped and panted slightly. He slightly sensed the vital energy in his body full. His vital energy was still maintained at a full state. In the prominent divine stage, I can actually replenish as much as I have? Then, what about the divine physique manifestation state? Tsing Hui muttered to himself. Tut! In the next moment, the golden crow spread its wings, and endless radiance mixed with a blazing torrent spread from its body. The sea region below, which was less than 100 meters away, gradually boiled. The power of the golden crow could burn the river and boil the sea. "Let me see how long you can last." After Tsing Hui finished speaking, the sea region was once again subjected to a destructive radiance. Violent explosions and terrifying heat waves spread in all directions, causing all the sea beasts living in the sea region to flee at their fastest speed or dive into the depths of the sea. 10 breaths, 20 breaths, 30 breaths, 100 breaths, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Phew! After 1 hour, Tsing Hui let out a long breath, and the golden crow shadow behind him quickly dimmed and returned to his body. 1 hour, compared to the time on Earth, was 1 hour. Even the peak of the prominent divine stage could only maintain the divine grade physique for 20 breaths, which was about 1 minute. 1 hour and 1 minute. How could the difference be just a little bit? Tsing Hui stood on the surface of the sea, which had been boiled beyond recognition and was filled with floating fish, and adjusted his breathing. After 2 hours, he opened his eyes again, which were shining brightly. He had recovered. He had completely exhausted his true qi, and it only took him 2 hours to fully recover. Let's try the grand sun true fire, eternal resplendent, sword of the glorious sun. After recovering his true qi, Tsing Hui did not rest. Instead, he tried his limits again. The recovery characteristic of a level 10 true qi was much more powerful than that of a level 6 true qi. 3 days later, Tsing Hui returned to the Moon Lake Island. At this moment, there was a faint smile on his face. Originally, he had thought that he would have to cultivate the 10 suns burning the heavens to the 6th or even the 7th day. By relying on the domain of the 10 suns burning the heavens, he would have the qualifications to face a true energy boundary expert head-on, making up for the difference in the amount of true energy between the two sides. It was no longer necessary. In terms of the duration of his divine body, he was not inferior to any true energy realm expert. If he could cultivate the 10 days burning the sky to 6 or 7 days, he would be able to manifest his divine body for a longer period of time than a true energy realm expert. Alliance Master! Congratulations to Alliance Master for successfully completing your divine body. Greetings to Alliance Master. Long live Alliance Master. As Tsing Hui descended from the sky, many cultivators belonging to the Life League approached him at the same time. Tsing Hui nodded. His gaze immediately fell on the core members of the Life League, such as Lord Jun Hai, Ling Yu, Tensha of Gojoseon, and the Maha Sect Master. At this moment, these core members of the Life League were in low spirit. Although they were happy that Tsing Hui had completed his closed-door cultivation, they could not hide the trace of worry on their faces. Let's go in first, Tsing Hui said to Ling Yu and the others before stepping into the meeting hall. At this moment, there were already more than 100 people in the meeting hall. Among these 100 people, 99% of them were in the Spirit Qi Unity realm. Only a few spirit-refining cultivators were qualified to attend this meeting because of their important positions. Is everyone here? Tsing Hui asked. Those who could make it here as soon as possible are all here. Ling Yu hurriedly replied. Tsing Hui's gaze swept across the people below. Although he did not have much of an impression of the unity of spirit and Qi realm cultivators, he could see that the number of unity of spirit and Qi realm cultivators had decreased by more than 30%. This was especially true for the green netherworld realm cultivators. The number of green netherworld realm cultivators had decreased to less than 10. The familiar faces from before, Zuluo Holy Mother and the Heavenly Devil Cult Master, were not present. If I recall correctly, there should be more green netherworld realm elders in the Life League, right? Tsing Hui asked. Well, Ling Yu and the others secretly exchanged glances. In the end, Ling Yu braced herself and said, the Life League had 14 green netherworld realm cultivators at its peak. However, due to the setback of Golden Edge Island's attack a year ago and the rise of the Creation Mystical Sect, which swept through half of the East Sea with Flying Snow Island and the other 3 islands as the epicenter, we suffered heavy losses. Even Zuluo Holy Mother died in battle. The rest either fled or surrendered to the enemy. Surrendered? Sing Hui's expression turned cold. Who surrendered? The Heavenly Devil Cult Master surrendered to Golden Edge Island, which is supported by the Unbounded Sword sect. The remaining 2 green Netherworld Realm cultivators accepted the Creation Mystical sect's recruitment and surrendered to them. The Unbounded Sword sect's Golden Edge Island and the Creation Mystical sect's Flying Snow Island. Sing Hui took a deep breath. As his cultivation grew, he would have to continue expanding the Life League's territory and conquer more regions to search for items that could carry Dao. He had been considering an excuse to attack openly, but now Limitless Sword Sect and Create Evolve Mysterious Sect are really audacious. The Eastern Sea is my territory, and they dare to interfere in the territory of the Life Moon Alliance. They are not putting the Life Moon Alliance in their eyes. I will let them know the price of offending the Life Moon Alliance. The first 10th level characteristic is out. What will be the next one to be upgraded to 10th level? Let's take a guess. The sun has just risen, and the sun is just right. Don't forget to vote. Chapter 333. Ling Yu, Zuoshao, Lord Zhenhai, Tianpeng Spiritual Master, and the others looked at each other and didn't know how to respond to Tsing Hui's boastful words. They were the Wuji Sword Sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect. Not to mention their hidden forces and the possible support from the Chaos organization behind them, their strength on the surface was enough to easily destroy the Life Moon Alliance hundreds of times. In front of the Limitless Sword Sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect, the Life Moon Alliance was nothing. Even if the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect behind the Life Moon Alliance was included, it was still far inferior to the Limitless Sword Sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect. How dare the Life Alliance be so arrogant in front of the Wuji Sword Sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect? Do they not know how to pronounce the word death? But these thoughts were only surging in their hearts, and they naturally didn't dare to show it on the surface. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Tsing Hui's gaze swept across everyone one by one. We naturally believe in your strength, but the Life Alliance and the entire Hunyuan Heaven Sect's development strategy is based on stability. We only need to protect our territory. As for what happens next, it won't be too late to discuss it after a period of time when the situation changes. Lord Zhenhai carefully considered his words and suggested in a low voice. Qing Su glanced at King Zhenhai. The former king of the Sea Realm had personally witnessed the empire he had founded being reduced to ashes under the fury of the 10 sacred sections. He had already become terrified of the strength of the 10 sacred sects, to the point where he no longer had the will to fight. Shaking his head, Tsing Hui didn't want to blame them too much. The East Sea could only be his territory. The Wuji Sword Sect must be destroyed, and so must the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect. He had to let everyone in the Eastern Wilderness know who was the real ruler of the East Sea. Anyone who dared to invade the East Sea would pay a heavy price. Okay, you don't need to deal with this matter. I'll deal with it. Tsing Hui waved his hand and said, That's great. It's too much of a waste of time for us to deal with the Golden Edge Island and the other stubborn forces one by one. Right now, the entire East Sea has been integrated into the Sun-Moon Alliance, the Golden Edge Island, and the Flying Snow Island. As long as we destroy the Golden Edge Island and the Flying Snow Island, the Sun-Moon Alliance will be able to take over the entire East Sea. When Ling Yu saw that Tsing Hui seemed to be serious about going to war with the Limitless Sword Sect's Golden Blade Island and the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect's Flying Snow Island, she hurriedly said, Alliance Leader, our Life Moon Alliance isn't ready to go to war with the Limitless Sword Sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect. The Create Evolve Mysterious Sect is extremely determined to occupy the Eastern Sea. In just a year, they have already built 5 creation gates and have sent 4 Grand Elders. This shows how determined the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect is. If we really fall out with the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect, I'm afraid that even the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect may not stand on our side in the end. I know what I'm doing. I'm not so arrogant as to declare war on the Create Evolve Mysterious sect and the Limitless Sword sect with my own strength. I just want them to know who is the true ruler of the Eastern Sea. After Tsing Hui finished speaking, his gaze fell on Lingyu, King Zhenhai and the others. There's no need to say anything else. Go and prepare to accept the remaining forces of Golden Blade Island and Flying Snow Island. Soon, we will be the only force in the Eastern Sea. Lingyu, King Zhenhai and the others exchanged a glance. They could all see that Tsing Hui was determined to go his own way. Although they were extremely worried, they knew that their persuasion wouldn't change Tsing Hui's mind. They could only anxiously think of a way to contact Nalan Fei after the meeting and have Nalan Fei and the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect persuade Tsing Hui. The Limitless Sword sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. They were existences that even the colossal Hunyuan Heavenly Sect couldn't afford to offend. Swoosh! Tsing Hui's figure flew at full speed in the void, leaving the Azure Sea behind him. He knew that the Limitless Sword sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious sect were becoming more and more presumptuous in the Eastern Sea. If the Life Moon Alliance continued to give in, they would be completely expelled from the Eastern Sea sooner or later. Currently, his demand for Taoist rhymes was increasing. Although the amount of Taoist rhymes that could be provided to him was decreasing after his plundering of the Eastern Sea, it was a long-term goal. Why did so many chaos organizations support forces on continents like the Eastern Wilderness? It was so that these forces could collect Taoist items on the continent and provide them to the higher-ups of their sects to raise their chaos level or to purchase supreme treasures from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Although he was still far from forming a powerful chaos organization, but he had to start planning and making preparations. Buzz buzz. A sound came from his personal space in the Chaos Divine Palace. As Tsing Hui focused his attention, he immediately saw Nalan Fei rushing over. Upon seeing Nalan Fei, Tsing Hui knew why she had come over. Before she could say anything, he said, "I know what you want to say. Don't worry, since I said that I will completely expel the Limitless Sword sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, I naturally have my own plans." Nalan Fei was slightly stunned, but she soon realized that Tsing Hui wasn't a rash person. She calmed down from the anxiety she felt when she heard the news. After some consideration, she said in a deep voice, "Currently, the Limitless Sword sect has sent 2 Supreme Elders to oversee the Golden Edge Island, while the Create Evolve Mysterious sect has sent 4 Supreme Elders to oversee the Flying Snow Island. In addition, they have built 5 gates of creation, and dozens of green Netherworld realm experts are in charge of the gates of creation. They have already made the Flying Snow Island impregnable. You have missed the best opportunity to expel the Create Evolve Mysterious sect in your seclusion for an entire year. It is almost impossible for you to expel the Create Evolve Mysterious sect and the Limitless Sword sect. Therefore, I hope that you can consider carefully before you act." "I have thought about it very carefully." Nalan Fei glanced at Tsing Hui and saw that his eyes were clear and he wasn't affected by his anger. She heaved a sigh of relief. "That's good. I just want to tell you that you shouldn't underestimate the power of the Limitless Sword sect and the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. The Wanxiang City, Alchemy Valley, Heavenly Medicine Union, and other forces aren't weak either. The Wanxiang City's City Lord is a high-level son of chaos in the prominent divine stage, and his battle strength isn't weaker than any true energy realm expert. However, he has always been below the 10 great sacred sections. The Alchemy Valley is also said to have refined a few war puppets that are equivalent to prominent divine stage experts. There are close to 10 prominent divine stage experts in total, but even the weakest Pharaoh sect doesn't dare to provoke them. If the Pharaoh sect is like this, then there's no need to mention the Create Evolve Mysterious sect that is vainly trying to conquer the Eastern Wilderness. I understand. The chaos organization behind them. Tsing Hui smiled. However, no matter how powerful the chaos organization behind them is, they can't possibly send an almighty to stand up for them, right? Almighty? Nalan Fei was taken aback. She didn't understand what Xing Hui meant. After a long while, she said, "That's not necessarily the case. An almighty is a stabilizing force for any chaos organization. Even our Heaven Dome Empire doesn't have many almighties. If Heaven Dome Empire is like this, then there's no need to mention the chaos organization that is inferior to us. Once an almighty is dispatched, it often means an all-out war. At that time, the price to pay will often far exceed the benefit. Therefore, the unspoken rule among the chaos organization is that almighties cannot easily take action." Can you tell me which chaos organization is behind the 10 great sacred sects? Xing Hui asked curiously. I'm not very clear about which chaos organization it is, but the chaos organization behind our Hunyuan Heaven sect is called the Demon Master Palace. It's a mid-lower level chaos organization among the many first-rate chaos organizations. It's said that there are only 3 almighties. The reason why the Hunyuan Heaven sect dared to betray the Demon Master Palace is, on the one hand, too many Daos. On the other hand, the only almighty of the Demon Master Palace, who has the incarnation technique, was unfortunately targeted by the enemy and died. Xing Hui was taken aback. Only one almighty of the 3 almighties has the incarnation technique? Seeing Xing Hui's astonished look, Nalan Fei couldn't help but laugh. You think it's too little? Xing Hui nodded. With the Hunyuan Heaven sect's influence in the eastern wilderness, they should at least provide 10 or 20 Daos to the Demon Master Palace every year, right? Then, in 10 years they can at least raise 1 chaos level. In 100 years, it won't be difficult to raise 10 chaos levels. It's true that the Hunyuan Heaven sect's annual quota is 15 Daos, but that's not how it's calculated. Where do you think the Hunyuan Heaven sect gets their high-grade divine weapons and cultivation resources from? Isn't it from those chaos organizations? Even if their profits are extremely high, with 15 Daos, they should still need 5 Daos, right? In this way, they'll only have 10 Daos left. 10 Daos can raise 1 chaos level every 10 years. If we calculate from chaos level 20 to chaos level 25, it'll still take 50 years. In these 50 years, won't he need to spend Daos to cultivate and break through? It's like an ordinary person who earns 100 taels a year. Will he be able to save that 100 taels? Won't he need to spend money on basic necessities? In addition to basic necessities, there's another big problem, and that's the Danger Hill encounter. In 50 years, even with the protection of the chaos organizations, how can the Son of Chaos be 100% sure that he won't encounter any danger? If he's seriously injured or dies, it's very likely that all his previous efforts will be wasted. It's like an ordinary person. Once they fall seriously ill, it'll be enough to squander all their savings for decades, and they'll have to start all over again. Xing Hui didn't know how to respond. There are other problems. Take the Demon Master Hall for example. They have 3 almighty beings and 15 Daos. How will the 3 almighty beings distribute the 15 Daos? They can't possibly only have the Hunyuan Heaven sect as their subordinate force, right? The Divine Wilderness isn't big, but it's not small either. However, the further one is from the Divine Wilderness, the greater the cost of the incarnation technique. Therefore, the only truly high-quality islands are the 360 continents with a radius of 3,000 kilometers around the Divine Wilderness. There are only 360 continents, but how many almighty beings are there in the entire Divine Wilderness? How many forces are there below the almighty level? Although the Demon Master Hall has 3 almighty beings, there won't be more than 3 powerful subordinate forces like the Hunyuan Heaven sect under them. Xing Hui frowned when he heard Nalan Fei's words. He had to admit that his idea of unifying the eastern wilderness and occupying the Daos produced every year was too simple. occupying a medium-sized continent. Perhaps it would affect the interests of more than one or two forces. The group hasn't been very lively recently. Should I post a photo of my cousin? Chapter 334. I understand. I'll measure it. Sing Hui replied. Alright, be careful. Don't try to be brave. Sing Hui nodded. Seeing this, Nalan Fei didn't insist on this question. After a year of seclusion, did you condense a battle body and step into the prominent divine stage? Of course. Sing Hui smiled. Nalan Fei's eyes lit up. Then your battle body is Golden Crow Divine Body. That's great. Nalan Fei praised from the bottom of her heart. Qing Su, I never thought you'd actually be able to cultivate a divine tier battle body. Our celestial dome is different from other chaotic organizations. We only recruit true geniuses. Those without divine tier gangqi are not allowed to enter the celestial dome, but even so, only 1 out of 10 cultivators with divine tier gangqi can cultivate a divine tier battle body in the end. With your current talent, you can be considered one of the best in the celestial dome. A divine grade battle body. The path of cultivation is still very long. Clearly, Qing Su's Golden Crow physique had impacted Nalan Fei to a certain extent. She became stern as well. You've already reached the vision domain, and you've cultivated a god-tier battle physique, so I can't fall too far behind you no matter what. In the past year, I've already accumulated my cultivation to the peak of the spirit and qi integration realm. Right now, I'm beginning to attempt to comprehend the convergence of heaven and earth and grasp the opportunity to reach the azure darkness realm. Alright, I wish you all the best. I'll count on your blessings. Nalan Fei nodded, and then his figure disappeared. Seeing Nalan Fei leave, Sing Hui continued to fly rapidly on the sea. There could only be one king in the East Sea, and that was the Life League. The Create Evolve Mysterious sect on the Flying Snow Island and the Limitless Sword sect on the Golden Blade Island had to be expelled. However, Nalan Fei's words made Sing Hui, who originally planned to kill his way into the sea region occupied by the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, wary. Expelling the Flying Snow Island and the Creation Mysterious sect's forces could be considered as the Life Moon Alliance reclaiming the East Sea. However, if they continued to invade the Creation Mysterious sect's territory, it would probably cause a strong backlash from the entire Creation Mysterious sect. If he wasn't careful, he might have to face the Creation Mysterious sect directly. With his current strength, as long as he didn't provoke the Creation Mystical sect, it wouldn't be a problem for him to face them head-on. However, the problem was, if he really did that, he wouldn't be able to cultivate, deliver goods, or earn Taoist rhymes in peace for a long time. Most likely, he would have to devote most of his energy to the battle with the Creation Mystical sect. If that was the case, it would be better to occupy the East Sea and ensure that the East Sea was safe. Then, he could use the convenience of the Chaos Divine Palace to obtain more Taoist rhymes and increase his cultivation as soon as possible. He believed that if he could cultivate to become an almighty, it wouldn't be difficult for him to occupy the small East Baron, whether he had the support of Heaven Dome or not. Furthermore, with his current combat strength that could suppress true energy stage cultivators without the divine technique and fight against transcendent cultivators with the divine technique, as long as he was willing to rely on Heaven Dome and have Heaven Dome as his backer, he would be able to establish his own sect and establish a force that wouldn't be inferior to the 10 great sacred sects. I'll think about it after expelling the various forces in the East Sea. During this time, I've already isolated the Chaos Divine Palace from sensing the Creation Divine Jade. After 3 days, I should have accumulated 3 Taoist rhymes. After I've completely dealt with the Golden Edge Island and the Creation Mystical sect, I'll go into seclusion again and use the Creation Divine Jade to comprehend the 10 Burning Heavens Immortal technique. Once I've cultivated the 10 Burning Heavens Immortal technique to the 6 Suns realm and above, coupled with the phenomenal success of the technique, I'm confident that I can fight against transcendent cultivators without the divine technique. Tsing Hui retracted his consciousness from the Chaos Divine Palace and flew at full speed once again. With his 10th order recovery ability, he didn't have to worry about the consumption of his true qi. Even if he flew at full speed, his body would connect with an unknown energy and replenish his true qi quickly. Not long after, he appeared on the surface of a vast sea. Hovering above the sea, Tsing Hui activated the seal formed by the contract with the sacred beast Xuanwu. Not long after, the sea surged and a large number of white bubbles spread out. Not long after, the 9th order sacred beast Hao Yu, which was as big as a small island, appeared in the sea below. As soon as Hao Yu appeared, he immediately felt the change in Tsing Hui's aura. His huge eyes stared at Tsing Hui and carefully sized him up. After a while, he slowly said, "I didn't expect your aura to grow so much. It's only been a little more than a year, but you've already improved to such a level. You really live up to your name as the legendary son of chaos." "You flatter me, Your Excellency Hao Yu." After Tsing Hui finished speaking, he took out a bottle. Seeing the bottle in Tsing Hui's hand, Hao Yu opened his eyes wide. "This is... I can feel it. Innate true water. I can feel the aura of innate true water." "That's right. I have a portion of innate true water." Although Hao Yu was excited by the appearance of this portion of innate true water, he still suppressed his emotions and asked Tsing Hui, "Give me the innate true water. What do you need me to do?" "Very simple. To the north of this sea region, there are 2 sea regions. One of them is 2,000 kilometers in size and is led by the Golden Edge Island. It includes 12 islands of various sizes. The other sea region is led by the Flying Snow Island. It includes 19 islands of the surrounding 3,000 kilometers. I want you to expel all the humans in these 2 sea regions. It's best if you can make all the 6 prominent saint experts in these 2 sea regions stay. 1 portion of innate true water in exchange for 6 prominent saint human invaders and 2 sea regions. It's a very good deal. I'll take it." "All right." Tsing Hui threw the innate true water to sacred beast Hao Yu. With the equal contract, he wasn't afraid that Hao Yu would go back on his words. "Then I'll leave these 2 sea regions to you. It's best if you can solve this problem once and for all, in case they send more people over." "I understand. With 1 portion of innate true water, I should be able to kill 10 prominent saint human cultivators for you. Since you're so straightforward, I naturally won't disappoint my allies. There will be a result within 10 days. Hao Yu opened his mouth and swallowed the bottle of innate true water. Tsing Hui nodded slightly. "If that's the case, I'll wait for Sir Hao Yu's good news. Our agreement is still in effect. When you bring the innate true water again, I'll make a move for you again." After Hao Yu finished speaking, his huge body slowly sank into the sea, leaving behind a huge whirlpool on the surface of the sea. "I want to see if the Creation Mystical Sect and Limitless Swords Sect still have the guts to send people over to occupy the Eastern Sea after this." Tsing Hui revealed a trace of interest. In the next moment, he turned around and whistled in the direction of Moon Lake Island. After flying at full speed for less than half a day, Tsing Hui had already returned to Moon Lake Island. Seeing that Tsing Hui had returned from the outside world with a calm aura, it was obvious that he hadn't fought with anyone. Ling Yu, Lord Zhenhai, Spiritual Master Tianpeng, Sect Master Maha, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. "That's great. Alliance Master didn't act rashly." "That's right. Currently, the Creation Mystical Sect and Limitless Swords Sect have sent too many experts to the Eastern Sea. Each force has more than 30 green netherworld expert. If an all-out war really breaks out, our Life Alliance will definitely not be their match. Alliance Master is the supreme elder of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect and has terrifying battle strength that isn't inferior to a prominent saint expert. But we're doomed. In such a large-scale battle, we don't even know if we can survive." "Phew. We should continue to follow Alliance Master's original order and shrink the defensive line as much as possible. When the Limitless Sword Sect and the Creation Mystical Sect both suffer heavy losses, our Life Alliance will see if we have a chance to reap the benefits. Everyone thought to themselves, and at the same time, the worries in their hearts were relieved. After relaxing for a moment, Lord Zhenhai swept a glance at the horizon from the corner of his eye. He was slightly taken aback. The weather over there doesn't seem to be right. Ling Yu, Spiritual Master Tianping, Sect Master Maha, and the others raised their heads to look. They saw that the horizon, which was cloudless not long ago, was now covered with a layer of dark clouds. It was dark and gloomy, as if a heavy rain was about to fall. It's probably going to rain over there. But according to the distance between the clouds, the core of the rain clouds is at least a few hundred kilometers away from Moon Lake Island. Moreover, it won't pass by Moon Lake Island, so we don't need to pay attention to it. Spiritual Master Tianping calculated and said. The others nodded in agreement. They were different from the cultivators in the Divine Qi integration realm. Without a flying sword, cultivators in the Divine Qi integration realm might be helpless in the face of a large-scale storm. However, if they were in the green darkness realm, even if there was a storm in the way, they could still fly out of the storm's range using the Qi manipulation technique. Since they did not have to worry about starting an all-out war with the Limitless Sword Sect and the Creation Mystical Sect, everyone quickly relaxed. They did not take the storm clouds seriously and quickly dispersed. Tap, 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 the sound of footsteps echoed in Tsing Hui's courtyard. After returning to Moon Lake Island, Tsing Hui was too lazy to make any arrangements. He went straight to his cultivation room. After plundering the Tao-carrying items overseas and increasing his cultivation base, the Life Alliance was no longer as important to him as it used to be. In fact, when he reached the initial success stage of the Magic Arsenal casting technique, the Life Alliance's combat strength would become dispensable to him. At most, they could only be used to run errands. Tsing Hui glanced at his character model. After completely absorbing the Taoist rhymes in the small piece of Creation Divine Jade, his chaotic rank was raised to the 34th level. Moreover, he was left with 69 points of Taoist rhymes. In other words, he did not have to waste the Taoist rhymes in the Creation Divine Jade to the chaotic rank in the next 69 days to ensure that the Chaos Treasure Pavilion would consume the Taoist rhymes. Among the many celestial skills, the one that increases my combat strength the most is naturally the 10 days burning the heavens. Then, I'll start comprehending the celestial skill from the 10 days burning the heavens. Tsing Hui muttered to himself as he focused his attention on the Creation Divine Jade that had regained some luster. However, just when Qing Su focused his attention on the Fortune Jade and stopped purposefully blocking the connection between the Fortune Jade and the Chaos Divine Hall, a message suddenly rang out from the Chaos Divine Hall. Discovered Tao-carrying item. It contains 19 points of Taoist rhymes. Do you want to integrate it? Chapter 335. 19 Tao rhymes. This number startled Tsing Hui, and he vaguely felt that something was wrong. When I transferred the Tao rhymes from the Fortune mainland to the Fortune Divine Jade in my spiritual world, there was a difference of 10 times. In the end, I only got 13 Tao rhymes. It has only been 3 days since I returned from the Fortune mainland. According to the Fortune Divine Jade's growth rate of 1 Tao rhyme per day, it should be 16 Tao rhymes now. Why is it 19 Tao rhymes? Tsing Hui was slightly stunned. In 3 days, his Tao rhymes had increased by 6 Tao rhymes? 2 Tao rhymes per day? Suddenly, Tsing Hui's gaze focused on the repaired corner of the Fortune Divine Jade, and a shocking guess faintly emerged in his heart. Could it be, hiss? Tsing Hui took a deep breath, and suppressed the faintly uncontrollable shock in his heart. At this time, he couldn't care less about using the Fortune Divine Jade to comprehend the supreme immortal technique, 10 days burning the heavens. One day. If his guess was correct, the truth would be completely revealed in one day. There were only 24 hours in a day. For ordinary cultivators, 24 hours passed in the blink of an eye. If they used it to comprehend an immortal technique or divine ability, they could go into seclusion for 10 days to half a month. But this time, Tsing Hui had never felt that one day would be so torturous. In the end, he had to force himself to cultivate the true energy void technique, and use the characteristics of the true energy void technique to temper his temperament and wait for the passage of time. Finally, one day passed. I hope my guess is correct. Tsing Hui took a deep breath, and with a feeling of loss and gain, he reactivated the Chaos Divine Palace's connection to the Fortune Divine Jade. Discovered Tao Rhymes object, containing 21 Tao Rhymes. Do you want to integrate? As expected, a notification suddenly sounded in Tsing Hui's mind. After confirming his guess, Tsing Hui couldn't help but clench his fist. As expected, the Tao aura value produced by the Fortune Jade had increased from 1 point to 2 points. Although the Fortune Divine Jade from the Fortune mainland could only be regarded as a small dot compared to the one in Tsing Hui's spiritual world, it was just like the limit theory. A person could run 100 meters in 10 seconds with a little bit of training. However, if he wanted to run 100 meters in 9 seconds, even if it was just a small reduction of 1 second, the price he had to pay would still be more than 10 times or even dozens of times more than before. It was the same for the Fortune Divine Jade. After the body was repaired, even if it was only a little, the Creation Divine Jade underwent a huge change. This change increased the Creation Divine Jade's daily Taoist rhyme from 1 point to 2 points. In other words, if the Chaos Treasure Pavilion did not consume Taoist rhymes, he would only need to wait passively for 50 days to increase his chaotic rank. What a pleasant surprise! Tsing Hui's face was filled with joy. A moment later, his gaze also fell on the 2 remaining gaps in the Fortune Divine Jade, one large and one small. Now that a small gap had been filled, the amount of Taoist rhyme he could get every day had increased from 1 point to 2 points. If he could get the remaining 2 pieces of the Fortune Divine Jade and completely repair the Fortune Divine Jade in his spiritual world, what would happen? To what extent would the Taoist rhyme value he could obtain every day increase too? Just thinking about it made him look forward to it. It seems that in the future, in addition to developing a trading function, the Primordial Trade Association will also have a function of collecting information, just like the Divine Secret Pavilion, so that I can gather the other 2 pieces of the Fortune Divine Jade as soon as possible. With his guess confirmed, Tsing Hui gradually calmed down and planned the next development direction. However, the most important thing now was to comprehend the various immortal techniques as soon as possible. Even though the Tao aura within the Fortune Jade had an extremely significant supplementary effect on the comprehension of immortal techniques, 1 point of Tao aura could only last for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, which was 30 minutes. Although he had a total of 21 points of Tao aura, it could only allow him to persist in that mysterious state for 10.5 hours. If he wanted to completely master the few supreme immortal techniques he had obtained from the Fortune continent in a short period of time, the Taoist rhyme produced by the Fortune Divine Jade was still unable to replenish the primal chaos level. If he wanted to increase the primal chaos level, he would still have to rely on the Taoist rhyme from all over the world. Let me see how far my 10 Burning Heavens immortal technique can be deduced in these 10.5 hours. Tsing Hui muttered to himself. In the next moment, he focused all his energy on comprehending the 10 Burning Heavens immortal technique. The mysteries of the 10 Burning Heavens immortal technique emerged one after another through the Fortune Divine Jade's deduction, turning into bright sparks of inspiration that constantly exploded. In less than a minute, the 10 Burning Heavens immortal technique advanced to the One Sun realm. 2 minutes later, the 10 Burning Heavens immortal technique evolved to the Two Sun realm. In just 6 minutes, the 3 suns shone together, illuminating the surroundings. Following that, half an incense's time, 4 sun realm, 2 hours, 5 sun realm, 6 hours, 6 sun realm. By the time the Green Ruins Jade had completely exhausted the 21 Taoist rhymes it had accumulated during this period of time, his 10 suns burn the heavens had already reached the realm of 7 suns that the founding master of the Great Sun Divine Palace had just reached. Huff! Tsing Hui let out a long breath, and the moment he opened his eyes, it was as if the shadows of 7 blazing suns appeared in his pupils at the same time. In terms of difficulty, the 10 Burning Heavens Immortal technique is about the same as Magic Arsenal. At best, it's a notch higher. According to the 3 stages of Magic Arsenal, I can be considered to have cultivated the 10 Burning Heavens Immortal technique to the grand completion stage. 10 days of accumulated Taoist rhymes was enough to cultivate a supreme immortal technique to the grand completion stage. If this news were to spread to the Fortune continent, it would definitely cause an unprecedented uproar. The Taoist rhymes are becoming more and more insufficient. The higher my cultivation, the greater the consumption of Taoist rhymes. Tsing Hui focused his attention on the primal chaos divine palace and quickly contacted Sun Qi, who was far away in the heavy truth continent. It was time to reap the rewards of the divine weapons and resources that he had invested in Sun Qi. Tsing Hui thought to himself, and was about to change his appearance to contact Sun Qi. However, he stopped after a while. Although his incarnation technique had reached the 4th order, it was still not easy to smoothly bring Yu Yen out of the primal chaos heaven sect and ensure that he could obtain many Tao treasures from her. In fact, he would have to send down at least a spirit-refining realm incarnation to barely accomplish this. In this way, he would definitely fall into a weakened state after using the incarnation technique. Moreover, it would take a long time for him to do so. He had already sent Xuanwu Hao Yu to sweep the Golden Edge Island and Flying Snow Island to expel the forces of the Limitless Sword sect and the Fortune Evolution Mysterious sect. During this period, no one could guarantee that there wouldn't be any accident. If the Fortune Evolution Mysterious sect and the Limitless Sword sect flew into a rage out of humiliation, their top experts would abandon the Golden Edge Island and Flying Snow Island and directly attack the Life Alliance he was in. At that time, he would be in a weakened state. At that time, he would still fall into a situation where he was a fish on a chopping board. I should focus on polishing my spiritual force to the 80th order as soon as possible. At the same time, I should refine my true qi and prepare to step into the saint realm. Tsing Hui muttered to himself and stopped contacting Sun Qi. He began to scheme for the many Tao treasures on Yu Yen. Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Hunyuan Heaven Sect's sect master, Zhua Kunlun, received news of Tsing Hui less than half a day after he came out of seclusion. In this world, apart from the conventional jade talismans, there was also the primal chaos temple that could allow people to meet and communicate regardless of the distance between them. As long as there was a son of primal chaos as a spy, it would be easy to transmit information. After receiving the news, Zhua Kunlun was looking forward to how Tsing Hui would deal with it, especially after Tsing Hui's declaration in the following meeting. However, after waiting for 2 or 3 days, Tsing Hui still didn't make any movements on Moon Lake Island. Zhua Kunlun couldn't help but be disappointed to see all of Tsing Hui's trump cards. It seems that our elder Tsing Hui has given in the end. We thought that our Hunyuan Heaven sect would be able to force the Almighty behind him to descend by standing by and doing nothing. If we can drag the Almighty behind him, who is suspected to be Sky Dome, into the quagmire, Sword Shadow and Sky Dome will cooperate. When the 2 top 10 primal chaos organizations join forces, even the heavenly Tao will have a very high chance of avoiding them and giving up the benefits of the eastern wilderness. Once the heavenly Tao retreats, the Create Evolve Mysterious sect will lose its support and become rootless duckweed. Sooner or later, it will be completely devoured by our Hunyuan Heaven sect. Kunlun looked at the information sent over with a faint smile on his face. In front of him were Fa Dai, Song Yu, Du Ming, Star Slaughter, and the other prominent Saint Stage Grand Elders. Unless Sky Dome has the intention of interfering in the eastern wilderness, it's impossible for them to make such a big fuss over the disciple of an almighty like Tsing Hui. I'm afraid that sect master's plan will fail. Our actions will at most force out Elder Tsing Hui's trump cards and let us know how much support that Almighty has for him. This will also make it easier for us to determine the weight of Elder Tsing Hui. Star Slaughter said. Elder Fa Dai shook his head. In truth, if we really have to make a choice, I'd rather Sky Dome intervene in the eastern wilderness. Although Sky Dome has as many experts as the clouds, and even has an invincible Saint Stage expert like esteemed Zhu Zhao, they don't have many people because of their elite strategy. If they really want to intervene in the eastern wilderness, the number of people they can station there will be very limited. This is very advantageous to us. Kunlun nodded when he heard this. In terms of the number of experts Heaven's Vault possessed, it wasn't inferior to the other Chaos organizations. It was precisely because it had too few experts and was relatively weak that it had fallen to the bottom of the 10 great Chaos organizations. If Heaven's Vault were to recruit as many experts as Heavenly Tao and the other Chaos organizations, it would probably be able to push its ranking to somewhere between 4th and 8th place in a very short time. It's a pity that Tsing Hui has really endured. It seems that we'll have to let the Limitless Sword sect and Create Evolution Mysterious sect gradually grow stronger in our Hunyuan Heaven sect's C region. Our Hunyuan Heaven sect has just joined Shadow Sword. Although we've used the Tao Aura we've accumulated over the years to trade for many good things from Shadow Sword, it will still take some time to convert those things into our strength. Therefore, we need to focus on defense for now. After a few more years, when our Grand Elders break through, we will officially have the qualifications to challenge the Create Evolution Mysterious sect and the Limitless Sword sect. At that time, the Limitless Sword sect and Create Evolution Mysterious sect will have to spit out all of our Hunyuan Heaven sect's territory. Kunlun said. The other elders nodded in agreement. Just when the Grand Elders were worried that Tsing Hui would not be able to watch a good show, a middle-aged man of the Green Netherworld stage hurried in from outside and reported anxiously, Sect Master, Elders, we just received news from overseas that the Overlord of the Foreign Seas, the Grade 9 Xuanwu Sacred Beast, has gone on a rampage and is heading straight for Flying Snow Island with a monstrous tsunami. I've activated the Double Experience buff. Then, can I activate the Double Experience buff mode for Ride the Wind? Chapter 336. Stage 9 Xuanwu? Overlord of the Outer Seas? When they heard the middle-aged man's report, the great elders who originally thought that the Alliance Master of the Life Moon Alliance, Qing Su, was going to admit defeat were all stunned. I've heard of that Stage 9 Xuanwu. It's the strongest overlord of the Eastern Sea. Together with the Green Flood Dragon and Kuan Whale of the Southern Sea, they are the strongest Stage 9 overlords of the Eastern Barren Sea. In fact, Xuanwu is ranked first among the 3 Stage 9 overlords. Why would such an extremely powerful overlord suddenly mobilize such a large force today, sweeping up a monstrous tsunami and charging straight for the Creation Mystical Sect's Flying Snow Islands? Elder Fa Dai's face was filled with disbelief. Could it be related to Grand Elder Tsing Hui? According to the information I obtained from the Life Alliance, when this Class 9 Black Tortoise Overlord returned from the Outer Seas a few years ago, the entire Life Alliance was in a state of panic, and the entire Life Alliance almost collapsed as a result. It was the Qing Su Great Elder who personally went to the Black Tortoise Cave abode and formed a strategic alliance with the Class 9 Black Tortoise Overlord, discussing whether to advance or retreat together with the Class 9 Black Tortoise Overlord. Right now, the Creation Profound sect behind the Flying Snow Island and the Wuji Sword sect behind the Golden Edge Island have invaded the East Sea aggressively, and they've sent as many as 6 prominent Saint Realm Great Elders. Since the Qing Su Great Elder couldn't do anything to them, he invited the Class 9 Black Tortoise Overlord to help him completely destroy the Flying Snow Island and Golden Edge Island? Star Slaughter guessed based on the information he knew. I've also heard of this news, but I previously thought that it was a baseless rumor. How could a level 9 Overlord, and one of the 6 Saints, Black Tortoise, sign an equal contract with a human who was only at the Green Darkness realm at that time? The strength of the two wasn't equal, but now that I think about it, it might be possible. Don't forget, our Grand Elder Tsing Hui has an almighty from the Sky Dome realm behind him. Elder Du Ming's words make sense. If the Stage 9 Saint Beast Xuanwu hides in the sea, other than Almighty, no one can do anything to it. Maybe it's because the Almighty behind Tsing Hui came to an agreement with this Stage 9 Overlord, allowing this Stage 9 Overlord to protect Tsing Hui, allowing him to grow smoothly. That's right, that Sky Dome realm's upper echelon didn't have enough time and energy to take care of his disciple, so it's reasonable to have an agreement with this Stage 9 Saint Beast Xuanwu. Xuanwu. The elders summed up the information they had, and it was as if they had understood the truth of the matter. Zhou Kunlun also felt that everyone's theory was close to the truth. His expression turned grave as he said, "It seems that we've all underestimated Grand Elder Tsing Hui. To think that there's such a terrifying force behind him. A Stage 9 Xuanwu Overlord. No wonder he didn't want to stay in our Hunyuan Heaven Sect's headquarters and insisted on staying on Moon Lake Island at all times. With this Stage 9 Xuanwu Overlord protecting him, which force in the eastern wilderness would dare to offend him? Ha ha ha, our Hunyuan Heaven Sect actually coincidentally discovered such a treasure. The Sea Suppressing Hall, the Sea Suppressing Hall, this is really a hall that suppresses the sea. With Grand Elder Tsing Hui overseeing the sea and the Stage 9 Xuanwu Saint Beast acting as a barrier, our Hunyuan Heaven Sect's sea region will be safe from now on." The remaining elders laughed happily. "I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. The Create Evolve Mysterious Sect has invested a lot of energy into the Flying Snow Island. In order to gain a firm foothold, they have built 5 gates of fortune, and all of them are medium-sized gates of fortune. It is said that they have plans to build a large gate of fortune. The Golden Edge Island has also made ample preparations. Not to mention the energy-destroying cannons, they have even moved several crystal cannons that can threaten Saint. In addition, they have also built a sword pool and invited several level 8 and level 8 divine swords to nourish them there. At the critical moment, the divine swords will be unleashed by the illustrious saint experts, and they can erupt with the power of a level 8 or level 9 divine weapon for a short period of time. Whether it is the Gate of Fortune or the sword pool, I don't know where they can hide when the Black Tortoise Overlord comes with a tsunami. Haha, Elder Fa Dai, I'm also looking forward to what you've said. We have to pay attention to the sea region at all times. I don't want to miss such a magnificent scene. Yes, yes. East Sea region. While the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect was gloating, the 4 Grand Elders of the Create Evolve Mystical Sect had also received news of the Xuanwu Saint Beast coming with a tsunami. At this moment, Miao Xian, Shoujin, Long Soul, and Wu Sui, who had suffered heavy losses in the Jin Wu religion's Hidden Flame Mountain, had gathered together. They were listening to the Blue Netherworld Stage Elders' report with disbelief on their faces. Stage 9 Xuanwu? That overlord of the sea region? How is it possible that it's sweeping a wave in our direction? It's true. The tsunami is less than 6,000 kilometers away from us. This time, the tsunami is extremely fast and its scale is huge, stretching over 1,000 kilometers. I'm afraid it will reach our Flying Snow Island in 4 to 6 hours. Elders, we should retreat as soon as possible. The Blue Netherworld Stage Elder looked anxious. That damned beast, our Create Evolve Mystical Sect, and it have always minded our own business and lived in harmony. How dare it sweep up a tsunami and attack our create evolve mystical sect? Isn't it afraid of the anger of our create evolve mystical sect's ancestors? You must know that even the Green Dragon King, who was also at the 9th stage, was lured to the shore by our creation mystical sect's ancestors and was almost killed. In the end, he had no choice but to escape to the outer sea to settle down. Venerable Long Soul's eyes were filled with anger and coldness. They had already gained a foothold here, and were waiting to expel Golden Edge Island and the Life Moon Alliance so that they could expand the Create Evolve mystical sect's territory and conquer the East Sea. However, the overlord of the sea region, Xuan Wu, had interfered at such a crucial moment and swept a tsunami towards them, provocation. This was the most severe provocation to the entire Create Evolve mystical sect. The Stage 9 Xuanwu is not the same as the Blue Dragon King. Although the Blue Dragon King can barely be considered a sacred beast, its bloodline is impure. However, Xuanwu is different. This Xuanwu was already one of the strongest overlords of the Outer Sea region when he was only at Stage 8. Now, his aura is even stronger and he has broken through to Stage 9. In addition, he is the Lord of the Water Domain of the 6 Divine Saints and his battle strength has reached the level of an overlord of the Outer Sea region. It's not an exaggeration to call him the #1 overlord of the Outer Sea region. If he dives deep into the Outer Sea region, even an almighty might not be able to do anything to him. Wu Sui shook his head. After being defeated by the Jin Wu religion on Mount Zhongyan, he came to the Outer Sea region to atone for his mistake and to find a chance to kill Tsing Hui to avenge the death of Xuanyangzi. He did not expect that things would go so smoothly in the beginning, but before the situation stabilized, he encountered this incident. Everyone, do you remember the news we heard from the Life Moon Alliance? The Life Moon Alliance and this Stage 9 Xuanwu are allies. Do you think this Stage 9 Xuanwu overlord was invited by Tsing Hui to destroy our flying snow island? Otherwise, how can we explain why the sacred beast Xuanwu came out of seclusion and attacked us so aggressively the moment Tsing Hui came out of seclusion? This, Miao Xian instinctively wanted to say that this was impossible, but, apart from this explanation, they could not think of any other reason for the Stage 9 Xuanwu to attack them. If it's true that the Life Moon Alliance and this Stage 9 Overlord have formed an alliance, then no matter how much effort we Create Evolve Mysterious Sect put into the East Sea, we won't be able to lay a finger on it. After a long while, Immortal Dragon Soul said in a deep voice. In the face of a 9th Order Sacred Beast, the Black Tortoise, not to mention that the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect had only built 5 medium-sized Gate of Fortune here, even if they had built 5 large-scale Gate of Fortune here, it would still be meaningless. One of the 6 divine sages was an invincible existence that could go against divine beasts in their field of expertise. Elder, what should we do? Seeing that all the elders were silent and frowning, the Green Netherworld Realm expert could not help but ask anxiously. Now that things have come to this, we can only prepare for both eventualities. You guys prepare to retreat. Dragon Soul, the 2 of us will go and meet the sacred beast Xuanwu. Since the Life Moon Alliance has reached an agreement with the Xuanwu sacred beast through benefits, why don't we try and see if we can pay a price to get it to join our side? Miao Xian, the leader of the Flying Snow Island, said. If we retreat, what will happen to the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect? It will take a day to destroy the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect, but the Xuanwu sacred beast will be here in a few hours. We destroy as much as we can, Miao Xian said and nodded to Immortal Dragon Soul. The 2 of them quickly went out and flew towards the Xuanwu sacred beast on their swords. As the 2 of them flew towards the Xuanwu sacred beast, they could gradually see the vast waves that swept across the heavens and the earth, as well as the terrifying dark clouds that covered thousands of kilometers above the waves. Within the dark clouds, gales whistled, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. Not to mention prominent divine stage experts like them, even true energy realm experts would be blown away by the gales if they were to fall into it. Then, their protective true energy would be destroyed by the falling lightning, and they would end up dead. Does this beast really want to exterminate the forces of our create evolve mysterious sect in the East Sea? Miao Xian looked at the huge tsunami that stretched for thousands of kilometers and couldn't help sucking in a breath of air. In front of this terrifying tsunami that could destroy the world, even a prominent divine expert like him felt insignificant from the bottom of his heart. "All right, let's go and talk to the sacred beast Xuanwu," Immortal Dragon Soul said. Miao Xian nodded and flew to the front of the tsunami. Using his true energy, he spread his voice to a radius of hundreds of kilometers. "Respected Sea Domain Overlord Xuanwu Sacred Beast, may I know how our Create Evolve Mysterious Sect has offended you to the point that you are so angry that you did not hesitate to summon a large force to attack us? If we have been rude in any way, our Create Evolve Mysterious Sect is willing to compensate to appease your anger." 6th Stage Cultivator of the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect? That's right. I hope that the Xuanwu Sacred Beast can give us a chance to atone for our sins on account of the ancestors of our Create Evolve Mysterious Sect. Before Miao Xian could finish his words, the dark clouds and torrential rain that filled the sky suddenly came whistling down. The sacred beast Xuanwu's dull and emotionless voice could be vaguely heard. "You will be the ones to deal with. The number of subscriptions has been in the negative for a long time, and the aftereffects of updating too quickly are inevitable. However, Chengfen still wants to try and see if he can increase the number of subscriptions in a short period of time. I don't know how much it will increase, but I hope that the number of subscriptions will increase slightly. Even if it's just a little bit, if the number of subscriptions can appear in green tomorrow afternoon, Chengfen will thank everyone for their support." Chapter 337. Not good. Xuanmiao and Dragon Soul's expressions changed drastically when they sensed the incoming gale. They were about to retreat. However, at the next moment, a burst of resplendent light illuminated all the pitch-black clouds. Before they could see clearly what kind of remarkable ability this attack was, they felt as if their bodies were about to be completely incinerated and engulfed their entire bodies. This was accompanied by a numbing power that almost robbed them of their senses. Lightning Strike. Lightning was a powerful attack formed by the intense friction between yin and yang. Xuanwu was the overlord of the water and could set off monstrous tsunamis. But apart from that, it also had a divine ability. If the two prominent stage Grand Elders of the Creation Transformation Mysterious Sect thought that they were in the void and not in contact with the surface of the sea, they were gravely mistaken. "Xuanwu, our Creation Transformation Mysterious Sect, and you have always minded our own business. Why must you be so ruthless?" Seeing that the 9th stage Xuanwu did not hesitate to kill him, Miao Xian let out a miserable cry filled with despair. Unfortunately, what awaited them was the endless gale and lightning from the Xuanwu sacred beast. In less than 10 breaths, the lightning and thunder in the void calmed down slightly. The tsunami that had paused for a moment continued to advance, and its momentum did not decrease at all. As for the two prominent stage Grand Elders of the Creation Transformation Mysterious Sect, they had already turned into ashes under the endless gale and lightning and fell into the sea. Not long after the two prominent stage Grand Elders of the Creation Transformation Mysterious Sect died, Shou Jun and Wu Sui on the Flying Snow Island received the news and their faces turned deathly pale. This 9th stage Xuanwu. Is it really going to completely fall out with our Creation Transformation Mysterious Sect? Shou Jun's face was ashen and his eyes were filled with rage. So what if we fall out? As long as this 9th stage Xuanwu Overlord does not come ashore, what methods does our Creation Transformation Mysterious Sect have to deal with it? It is not afraid of our Creation Transformation Mysterious Sect at all. Not only that, we even have to be careful of the Saint Beast Black Tortoise continuing south with the tsunami. Otherwise, the tens of thousands of gates of creation that our creation mystical sect has built outside the sea will definitely be annihilated by the Black Tortoise. Wu Sui said powerlessly. As the number one sect in the eastern wilderness, the creation mystical sect had always been the one giving others the cold shoulder. When had they ever encountered such a helpless situation? But now, in the face of the mighty divine power of the sacred beast Black Tortoise, no matter how unwilling they were, they had to admit that the creation mysterious sect could not do anything to the sacred beast Black Tortoise. If the sacred beast Black Tortoise wanted to destroy the great force they had built in the sea area, it would be a piece of cake. Damn it, what should we do now? Don't tell me you're going to be so indifferent? Shojin slammed the table hard, directly smashing the red sandalwood table into sawdust. The tsunami is only 2 hours away from here. Apart from saving the lives of the disciples, deacons, and elders, there is nothing else we can do. However, if we just run back with our tails between our legs and do nothing, I will not be reconciled. A look of hatred flashed across Wu Sui's eyes. Elder Shojin, don't forget why this 9th stage Xuanwu sacred beast attacked our flying snow island and destroyed our forces, causing the deaths of Elder Miao Xian and Elder Long Po. When Shojin heard Wu Sui's words, he suddenly thought of something. His eyes lit up as he exclaimed, Life Moon Alliance? That's right. The Life Moon Alliance relied on their alliance with the 9th stage Xuanwu sacred beast and somehow managed to get the help of this Xuanwu sacred beast. We can't do anything to this Xuanwu sacred beast, but we can deal a heavy blow to the Life Moon Alliance and let that bastard Cho Tsing Hui know the price of offending the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. Shojin immediately reacted to Wu Sui's words. He said with a murderous aura, Cho Tsing Hui dared to collude with the sea beast to kill the supreme elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. He deserves to die. If we don't kill him, it won't show the justice of the heavens. Since he got the help of the Xuanwu sacred beast to destroy the foundation that the Create Evolve Mysterious sect had built over the past year, we'll kill our way into the Life Moon Alliance and let him suffer the same fate as us. Gather our men, we'll kill our way into the Life Moon Alliance. Yes, gather our men. If he doesn't give us a way out, we'll destroy his foundation, Wu Sui said coldly. Although Tsing Hui had fought 2 supreme elders of the Hunyuan Heaven sect in a row, Shojin and Wu Sui believed that as long as they were careful and avoided the time limit of the divine art, they might be able to kill the new supreme elder of the Hunyuan Heaven sect in one fell swoop. The Create Evolve Mysterious sect had mobilized a large force, and Golden Blade Island also received the news half a day later. But unlike Tsing Hui, the 2 supreme elders of the Limitless Sword sect chose to retreat when they realized that the 9th stage sacred beast Xuanwu was going to kill them. No matter what, the Limitless Sword sect and the Hunyuan Heaven sect were allies on the surface, and Tsing Hui was a supreme elder of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. If he killed his way into the Life Moon Alliance just because of his unwillingness, it would easily cause the relationship between the Limitless Sword sect and the Hunyuan Heaven sect to fall apart. Without the support of the Hunyuan Heaven sect and other forces, the Limitless Sword sect alone wouldn't be able to resist the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. Considering that as long as this level 9 Xuanwu overlord was in the East Sea, they wouldn't be able to shake the Life Alliance's position in the East Sea, everyone from the Golden Blade Island decided to leave. They tried their best to bring whatever they could and returned to the mainland. As for the news that the Create Evolve Mysterious sect was attacking the Life Moon Alliance, they naturally pretended not to know. Instead, they were happy to see the 2 supreme elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect and the Life Moon Alliance fight to the death. In a cultivation room on Moon Lake Island, Xuanwu should be arriving at Flying Snow Island by now. With the 9th stage Xuanwu Hao Yu personally taking action, everyone knows that there is a 9th stage sacred beast behind our Life Moon Alliance. Before they have the confidence to deal with this sacred beast, no one will dare to touch the East Sea. However, the only thing we need to be careful of is the Limitless Sword sect or the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Tsing Hui carefully weighed the pros and cons. If they really want to kill me, the Prominent Saint stage is far from enough. Even a true energy boundary expert won't be enough. Sending a Transcendent stage expert will be more likely. Moreover, 1 or 2 Transcendent stage experts won't be enough. I have a divine art. If any Transcendent stage expert thinks he can deal with me alone, he'll be gravely mistaken. A Transcendent stage expert was already the highest battle power a sect could have. On the surface, the Hunyuan Heaven sect's battle power was only 4 true energy boundary ancestors. Even if they hid their experts and doubled this number, they would at most be on par with Tsing Hui when he was in the 10 burning heavens state. This was without taking into account the divine art. In other words, if the Hunyuan Heaven sect's numerous secret treasures and the existence of high-level sons of primal chaos, he alone was equivalent to the entire Hunyuan Heaven sect's strength. The difference between the Saint stage experts and the true energy boundary experts isn't that great. Compared to the true energy boundary experts, the never-ending stage only has the most precise control over true energy and can unleash 120% of the power. Based on this, the combined attack of 4 or 5 true energy boundary experts is equivalent to a Transcendent stage expert. 8 or 9 of them together can kill a Transcendent stage expert. The main advantage of the never-ending stage is that the true energy in their bodies is endless and almost impossible to deplete. Thus, the increase in battle power is extremely limited. In a battle of attrition, 2 or 3 true energy boundary experts are enough to deal with a never-ending stage expert. Above the never-ending stage is the Golden Core stage. The strength of a Golden Core stage expert is based on 2 points. Tsing Hui continued to draw conclusions based on his understanding of the 6 and 4 stages of the Saint stage. The first point is that a Golden Core stage expert's true energy eruption is extremely powerful. If a Transcendent stage expert is careless, they may even be killed on the spot. Only a never-ending stage expert's true energy will constantly replenish their true energy to protect their body. The second point is that a Golden Core stage expert can live for a long time. Logically speaking, a Golden Core stage expert's lifespan was 3,000 years. Even if a Golden Core eruption and accumulated hidden injuries in their youth, it was not a problem for them to live for more than 1,000 years. After more than 1,000 years, they had accumulated countless techniques and treasures. If a cultivator with a shorter lifespan were to face a Golden Core stage expert, the slightest bit of carelessness could cause them to fail miserably. However, according to Tsing Hui's understanding, once a Saint stage expert reached the never-ending stage, they could rely on an endless supply of true energy to fly across the sea and head to the Tianhuang continent. They would no longer be limited to the resource-poor eastern wilderness. Therefore, the probability of the Creation Mystical sect having a never-ending stage expert was very low. Even if they did have one, there would only be 1 or 2. There isn't much difference between the true energy stage, transformative stage, never-ending stage, and Golden Core stage. The Hunyuan Heaven sect's strength is equivalent to 10 true energy stage experts. The Qiankuan Holy Land, 6 Paths of Gods and Demons, and Shinshao Sword sect, which are on par with them, also have the same number. As for the Golden Crow sect, Pharaoh sect, Green Lotus Sword sect, and Giant Dragon Mountain range, they are obviously a little weaker. On the other hand, the Wuji Sword sect, I'm not sure how strong they are, and with twice as many people as the Hunyuan Heaven sect, the 9 great sects have about 76 true energy stage experts. Although the Creation Mystical sect's strength below the Saint stage is strong enough to beat the 9 great sects, their strength above the Saint stage is inferior to the 9 great sects combined. Tsing Hui closed his eyes. He already had a rough idea of the Creation Mystical sect's true strength. 50 people. About 50 true element realm experts. Of course, it's impossible for the creation mystical sect to have 50 true element realm experts. Disregarding the divine arts, the sect's foundation, and other factors, the number of true element realm experts is about a dozen. As for transformative realm experts, this was also in line with the current strength of the creation mystical sect's number 1 expert, Taoist Tian Ding. Taoist Tian Ding was a transcendent stage expert who had condensed a saint-grade battle body, saint-grade true energy, and a level 14 chaotic stage expert. I alone am equivalent to 10 true energy stage experts. With the Wuji Sword Sect, Jin Wu Religion, Qiankuan Sacred Ground, Shenshao Sword Sect, and other forces holding them back, the creation mystical sect can only mobilize a limited number of experts. Once they move, I'll know immediately. I'd like to see who dares to have designs on the Eastern Sea after I reveal part of my strength. Xing Hui muttered to himself. The moment he calculated the strength of the creation mystical sect, Ling Yu's panicked voice rang out outside Xing Hui's cultivation room. Alliance Master, the 2 Grand Elders of the creation mystical sect, Wu Sui and Shou Zhen, have brought dozens of Blue Netherworld stage and Divine Qi Unison stage experts to attack the Life Alliance. They are less than 300 miles away from us. Chapter 338. Not good. Alliance Master, Wu Sui and Shou Zhen from the creation mystical sect are leading dozens of Blue Netherworld Realm and Unity of Spirit Realm experts towards our Life Moon League. They are less than 300 miles away from us. Ling Yu's anxious voice came from outside the cultivation room, and Xing Hui was slightly stunned when he heard it. In the next moment, he slowly stood up. 300 miles? Good timing. As he spoke, he pushed open the door and walked out. Outside the door, Ling Yu, King Zhenhai, and the others heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Xing Hui. They were afraid that their alliance master would suddenly choose to go into seclusion at this critical moment. That would be terrible. Very good. Since they have sent themselves to our doorstep, let's go and receive them properly. Xing Hui said. Alliance Master. The 2 Supreme Elders from the creation mystical sect are leading a group, and they are coming with great momentum. Do you think we should avoid them first? Zhuo Xiao suggested cautiously. There's no need for that. From today onwards, anyone who wants to target our Life League will have to consider whether they have the strength to do so. Otherwise, the 2 prominent Sage Stage Supreme Elders of the creation mystical sect will be their example. After he finished speaking, Xing Hui's figure flew in the direction of the creation mystical sect. King Zhenhai, Ling Yu, and the others looked at each other with faint anticipation in their hearts. However, for safety's sake, they still followed him immediately. With their strength, even if Qing Su was defeated, they would still be able to go and support him for a while and save him. To Qing Su, who could unleash his true qi freely and fly at full speed, a distance of 150 kilometers did not take much time at all. Moreover, as he flew towards the people of the creation mystical sect, the people of the creation mystical sect hurried towards him as well. In less than a few seconds, the 2 parties collided. Creation mystical sect, how dare you invade the Life Alliance's borders? You shall be punished. Looking at the creation mystical sect's people who appeared at the end of the sky, Xing Hui shouted in a low voice. His figure did not slow down at all. Like a stream of light, he broke through the air and charged towards them. Xing Hui, how dare you collude with the demonic beasts and destroy the foundation of the creation mystical sect? Today, I will punish you on behalf of the heavens and kill you here. When Wu Sui saw Xing Hui charging towards him, he immediately roared and his Phylian sacred physique appeared behind him. For a moment, a gale whistled and a huge cyclone formed in the void. Phylian sacred physique, do you really think you can defeat me? At that moment, the creation mystical sect's people's eyes of the creation mystical sect's people. For a moment, it was as if a sun suddenly appeared from the horizon, in the vision of the creation mystical sect. Sex peoples as mystical sacred sex peoples sex of the sect of the mystical sect. Golden Crow body? Oh no, this guy has broken through to the prominent divine stage, and a divine grade battle physique? He actually cultivated a divine grade battle physique? Shou Zhen, who was following closely behind Wu Sui, felt the majestic power of Tsing Hui's battle physique, and his face suddenly changed. A divine grade battle physique, coupled with Tsing Hui's divine skill. This power was definitely not something that he and Wu Sui could resist together. Retreat. Retreat quickly. Shou Zhen's voice came immediately. Unfortunately, it was too late. Tsing Hui deliberately waited until Wu Sui entered his attack range before he manifested his Golden Crow sacred physique. Wasn't he worried that they might escape? When Wu Sui felt the mighty and blazing aura from Tsing Hui's Golden Crow sacred physique and was about to retreat, the huge Golden Crow phantom behind him had already let out a loud and clear cry. Its huge and sharp claws tore down, and endless flames and blazing heat constantly twisted the void around its sacred physique. Before the sharp claws arrived, the extremely pure and blazing power contained in the Golden Crow sacred physique had already made Wu Sui feel as if his flesh and blood were burning. Soul-dispersing divine wind. At the critical moment, Wu Sui did not hesitate to use the most powerful attack of his Hylian sacred physique. A burst of soul-shaking dark divine wind swept toward Tsing Hui, constantly attacking Tsing Hui's spiritual world. However, although Tsing Hui had not broken through to the true energy realm, his spiritual strength had already surpassed most of the true energy realm experts. In addition, his sword essence had almost reached the phenomenal level. This soul-dispersing divine wind, which was enough to shake the spiritual strength of an ordinary prominent divine stage expert, did not affect his spiritual world at all. On the contrary, when he used the soul-dispersing divine wind and stopped moving, endless flames burst out from the Golden Crow sacred physique, igniting the void within a radius of dozens of kilometers. Endless light and heat rolled over, completely dispersing the divine wind. Then, the Golden Crow's sharp claws tore through the void and hit Wu Sui's Hylian sacred physique. Even though the Hylian was also a sacred beast, it was still torn apart by the Golden Crow sacred physique, which was mixed with endless flames. More than half of it was annihilated on the spot. Wu Sui screamed in pain when his sacred physique collapsed. He immediately spat out blood and used a secret technique. He was like a beam of bloody light trying to escape toward the end of the sky. Can you escape? Grand Sun True Fire. Behind Qing Su, the Golden Crow spread its wings and condensed into clusters of flames. It was actually like a scorching sun, condensing into a resplendent pillar of fire in the end. It shot towards the fleeing Wu Sui with extremely terrifying heat, completely igniting him as the flames collapsed. Save me, Elder Shou Zhen. Wu Sui, who was being burned by the flames, cried out in pain. He constantly circulated his true qi in a futile attempt to extinguish the flames on his body. However, these flames contained a trace of the Grand Sun True Fire, which was extremely tough. No matter how Wu Sui's true qi surged violently in his body and how he took out his ice secret treasures, he still couldn't do anything to these flames. He could only watch as these flames broke through his true qi blockade and burned his body. Damn it! Cho Tsing Hui, how dare you kill the Grand Elder of the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect? Aren't you afraid that the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect will not rest until you are dead? Shou Zhen was terrified when he saw Wu Sui's miserable state. Although he was yelling, he did not move forward but retreated. Wu Sui had cultivated a saint-grade battle physique, but it was difficult for him to withstand Tsing Hui's attacks. Shou Zhen's battle physique was weaker than Wu Sui's. How could he resist the power of the divine-grade Golden Crow battle physique? Not to mention, the divine-grade Golden Crow battle physique, was not the limit of Tsing Hui's combat strength. He still had the divine technique, which could turn the tide of the battle. It's not like I haven't killed the Grand Elder of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect. Isn't Xuanyangzi your Grand Elder? Since I dared to kill the first one, I naturally dare to kill the second and third. You can only blame yourselves for daring to encroach on my territory in the East Sea. As soon as Tsing Hui finished speaking, the air in front of him exploded. The Golden Crow battle physique took a step forward and arrived in front of Shou Jin in an instant. Although the Golden Crow battle physique was not good at speed, as a divine beast that had the potential to derive magical powers like the Rainbow Transformation technique, it was not weak in terms of speed. With a step, it carried endless heat, as if a sun had descended in front of Shou Jin. Before it arrived, the terrifying heat contained in the Golden Crow battle physique, which was powerful enough to burn the sky and boil the sea, had already made Shou Jin let out a shrill cry. He immediately activated his divine physique. It was a six-hell demonic scorpion. The six-hell demonic scorpion was proficient in poison. When this battle physique appeared, there was a large amount of mysterious green poison boiling. If an ordinary cultivator came into contact with a trace of it, it would be difficult for them to escape the fate of being poisoned and killed. However, how terrifying was the heat of the divine beast Golden Crow battle physique. Vast and mighty, the purest of yang energy. Before the poison power emitted from the six-hell demonic scorpion could form, it was evaporated by the terrifying light emitted from the Golden Crow battle physique. Then, the divine beast Golden Crow battle physique slapped down, and the extremely refined Grand Sun True Fire flashed. The moment it touched the six-hell demonic scorpion battle physique, it was completely ignited and turned into flames. Even Shou Jin, who had activated his battle physique, was engulfed by the Grand Sun True Fire. In the blink of an eye, he fell into the same miserable situation as Wu Sui. The Create Evolve Mysterious sect will not let you go in the flames. Shou Jin let out a painful curse. Soon, he was completely burned to ashes. As for Tsing Hui, after killing the two Grand Elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, the Golden Crow battle physique behind him dimmed slightly. However, this dimming lasted for only a moment before it recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Grand Sun True Fire. With the current strength of his true essence, he could only launch a few attacks at the level of Grand Sun True Fire. However, because he had raised the recovery characteristic to the 10th level, the recovery speed of his true chi had been strengthened to an unprecedented level. He could even use attacks at the level of Grand Sun True Fire to his heart's content. Thus, the two Grand Elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, who could fight for a while against True Essence Realm experts, were burned to ashes in a few breaths and died on the spot. After killing the two Grand Elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, Tsing Hui did not stop at all. With the support of endless true chi, he was so willful that he did not even bother to withdraw his Golden Crow battle physique. In an instant, he had already rushed into the rear troops of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, which were made up of spirit and chi as one and Green Hell Realm experts. Then, his divine body surged and tore through the crowd in the center. The Golden Crow battle physique tore through the crowd. However, what surprised Tsing Hui was that before the Golden Crow battle physique's attack landed on the spirit and chi as one and Green Hell Realm experts, the terrifying heat emitted from the Golden Crow battle physique's body had already caused their clothes and true chi to spontaneously combust. Those weaker spirit and chi as one experts screamed in pain and spat out large amounts of flames from their mouth. When his attack truly landed, it was as if a human's palm had swept across a pile of rotten sand sculptures. There was no feeling at all. One by one, the spirit and chi as one and Green Hell Realm experts were smashed into pieces and turned into ashes. This kind of result was a little unexpected to him. The terrifying power of the Golden Crow battle physique in a group battle was much more terrifying than he had imagined. The two Grand Elders of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect were killed in a single blow. These Spirit and Chi as One and Green Hell Realm experts were already scared to death. Now, when they saw Tsing Hui effortlessly killing their comrades around them, more than a dozen of them had died in the blink of an eye. The remaining people did not have the slightest bit of courage to resist. Each and every one of them hurriedly fled in all directions. Escape? Since you're all here, then stay here forever. Tsing Hui collected his thoughts. His gaze instantly fell on the center of the fleeing crowd. In the next moment, he brazenly executed the killing move that he had wanted to try earlier but did not have the chance to do so. The huge Golden Crow battle physique exploded with unprecedented radiance. Endless radiance and heat instantly filled the entire area, covering everything within a radius of tens of kilometers. Eternal radiance. 19, that's 19 less subscriptions. This will be able to surpass the record from a few days ago and break the bad news of the continuous drop in subscriptions. Please log into your Qigyan account and help to subscribe, support the original version, and catch up with these 19 numbers. Even though Chengfen knew that if he were to explode again today, the subscriptions might continue to drop. Not one less. I only hope that everyone can move and contribute to Chengfen's book. Chapter 339. Burning the Sky and Boiling the Sea. When King Zhenhai, Lingyu, the master of Moon Lake, Zhuoxiao, Yuan Tiangang, and the hierarch of Maha caught up to Qing Su, what they saw was the shocking sight of Qing Su summoning the resplendent light of eternity with the body of the Golden Crow, incinerating the sky and boiling the sea. A ball of fiery light that was as bright as the sun exploded with a boom. The shock wave that was visible to the naked eye tore apart all the clouds within a 100-kilometer radius. Under the shock wave, a huge whirlpool with a diameter of more than 10,000 meters was formed in the sea area 1,000 meters below the surface of the sea, causing the seawater to flow backward. The remaining heat didn't reduce in the slightest as it boiled the surface of the sea, causing endless steam to rise from the surface of the sea within a 10-kilometer radius. Countless large fish and sea beasts floated up from the bottom of the sea with their bellies turned white. As for the dozens of Divine Qi Uniting Realm and Blue Netherworld Realm experts of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect, they were all destroyed by the eternal resplendent flame. The area within a 10-kilometer radius turned into a land of death, where no life could survive. Hundreds of cultivators at the same level as them were instantly annihilated. This shocking scene appeared in front of these Divine Qi Uniting Realm and Blue Netherworld Realm experts of the Life Moon League. It gave them an unprecedented shock, and made them deeply realize how lowly and insignificant they were. It turned out that the Divine Qi Uniting Realm and Blue Netherworld Realm cultivators that they thought they were strong enough to dominate an area were so weak in front of the eternal resplendent flame. All of a sudden, an indescribable feeling of fear and respect rose from their bones. All of the Life Moon Alliance cultivators who had followed them raised their heads to look at the figure within the intense radiance. It was as if they were worshipping the god in their hearts. Phew! Tsing Hui let out a long sigh. The Golden Crow body, which was about to dissipate after using the resplendent eternity, had regained a little bit of its original form when he exhaled. Although it was still not enough for him to use the resplendent eternity again, or even the Grand Sun Primordial flame, at least the Golden Crow body would not dissipate because of the excessive consumption of his internal qi. Swish! After recovering some of his strength, Tsing Hui turned around and landed beside Lingyu, Lord Zhenhai, Zhuoxiao, Yu Xianchen, and the others. He said to them, "The matter of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect has been resolved. Next, I will have the Hunyuan Heaven sect's channels monitor the movements of the Create Evolve Mysterious sect's transcendent stage experts." As long as the Create Evolve Mysterious Sect's Transcendent Stage experts are under our watch, they won't be able to launch a surprise attack on the Life Moon Alliance. No matter how many ordinary Create Evolve Mysterious Sect experts come, they won't be a threat. Ling Yu and Lord Zhen Hai stared at Xing Hui with their eyes wide open. At this moment, they were shocked to discover that Xing Hui had not used any divine techniques when he had used the peerless killing move that could burn the heavens and boil the seas. He had actually used only his own strength to defeat Wu Sui and Shou Zhen, the two prominent divine stage supreme elders of the Creation Transformation mystical sect, with a thunderous force. If his physical strength was already so strong, then if he used the divine technique and relied on the power of the divine technique, how strong would his combat strength be? Xing Hui ignored Ling Yu and Lord Zhen Hai. After giving his order, he left on his sword and disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Is this the power of a divine-grade battle body? Is a divine-grade battle body really so powerful? Yu Xianxian stared blankly in the direction where Xing Hui had disappeared, and could not come back to her senses for a long time. Lord Zhen Hai glanced at the boiling sea in front of him and the fish corpses that kept emerging from the surface of the sea. He could even smell the fragrance of fish from more than 10 kilometers away. This kind of power, it's too scary. Ordinary divine bodies definitely don't have this kind of power. However, the Golden Crow divine body is one of the most destructive divine bodies. Once the Golden Crow appears, it can burn the heavens and boil the seas. Its power is naturally far beyond our imagination. Moreover, as the Alliance Master's cultivation increases in the future, his Golden Crow divine body will also become more and more powerful. Perhaps one day, he will be able to transform into a real Golden Crow and shine with the sun and moon, illuminating the ages. Ling Yu also heaved a long sigh of relief. The power that Xing Hui had just displayed was simply suffocating to her. At this moment, she was extremely glad that she had learned about Xing Hui's background before she had the chance to betray him. Otherwise, once she had betrayed Xing Hui, there would be no place for her in the entire eastern wilderness given his terrifying strength and future potential. We're all frogs at the bottom of a well. How can we see the Alliance Master's greatness? It's ridiculous that we've tried to dissuade the Alliance Master from turning against the Creation Mysterious Sect. However, in reality, the holy beast Xuanwu had swept over the tsunami and attacked the Flying Snow Island, forcing the people on the Flying Snow Island to resort to desperate measures. Then, the Alliance Master displayed his invincible strength and easily crushed two of the Creation Mysterious Sect's supreme elders to death, as if they were ants. The Alliance Master's strength is beyond what we can see, Sect Master Maha said in a deep voice. There was a faint sense of fanaticism in his tone toward Xing Hui. If the Alliance Master can really grow at this speed in time, the Life Alliance might really develop into the 11th Saint Sect in the Eastern Wilderness. Zhuo Xiao took a deep breath and said. The other few Green Hell Realm elders were silent for a moment, and then they nodded in agreement. A few years ago, they could still clearly see where the Alliance Master's limits were, but now, while they were still short-sighted, the Alliance Master had already broken through one realm after another, leaving them far behind. Now, they couldn't even look up to the Alliance Master's back. After some time, when the Alliance Master broke through or recovered to the true energy boundary, he might really be able to develop the Life Alliance into the 11th Saint Sect. Xing Hui did not care about killing Wu Sui and Shou Zhen, the two supreme elders of the Creation Mysterious Sect. When he had broken through to the prominent saint stage on the Fortune mainland after condensing the Golden Crow divine physique, he did not care about ordinary prominent saint stage experts. A divine-grade battle physique often gave one the ability to fight above their level. Although this did not mean that one could defeat an opponent who was one level higher than oneself, it was still a proof of the strength of a divine-grade combat body. Defeating those of the same level was just the foundation for a divine-grade combat body. If one could not even achieve this, why would countless cultivators try to awaken their divine beast bloodline and cultivate divine-grade vital qi and gang qi in exchange for the achievement of condensing a divine-grade combat body at the last level of the longevity realm? Everyone could just casually awaken a bloodline and continue to cultivate. It was because of the strength of a divine-grade battle physique that countless people were willing to give their all to obtain it. Xing Hui was lucky to have reached this step, and now that he had succeeded, other than needing to spend some effort to condense divine-grade true energy, the transcendent realm was no longer difficult for him. It was only a matter of time before he reached the never-ending realm and even the immortal golden core realm. A divine-grade battle physique and divine art. As long as the cultivators of the Creation Mysterious sect are clear-headed, they should understand that the current me cannot be defeated by a transcendent realm expert. A transcendent realm expert can be ranked in the top 10 of the Eastern Wasteland rankings, and there are countless pairs of eyes watching him. If he makes the slightest move, I will definitely know. Naturally, I can avoid him in advance and even set a trap to lure him out. As for ordinary prominent saint stage supreme elders, sending them here is simply sending them to their death. There was a faint smile on Qing Su's lips. After this battle, there shouldn't be too much trouble for a long time. Then, I'll wait for another month. During this month, I'll refine my mind and try to raise it to the 80th level as much as possible. At the same time, I'll see how the Creation Mysterious sect and the entire Eastern Wasteland world react to this battle. If everything goes well, I can send my clone to the Chongjian continent and start to scheme for the hundreds of Taoist rhyme there. With that thought, Xing Hui flew directly to Moon Lake Island on his sword and rushed into the cultivation room without alerting anyone from the Life Moon League. He had been itching for the hundreds of Taoist rhyme points on the Chongjian continent for a long time. Although it was a waste to use them to comprehend supreme immortal skills, it could still increase his chaotic level. Every time the chaotic level increased by 5 levels, a new ability would appear. Previously, due to the many ancient books that he could refer to, he had already read all the skills between the 1st and 30th levels in advance. However, he had never heard of a new ability at the 35th level. Now that his chaotic level had reached the 34th level, he was only one step away from the 35th level. Therefore, he was really looking forward to this unknown and mysterious new ability. Xing Hui went into seclusion to sharpen his mind in anticipation of reaching the 35th level of chaotic level. However, the news of the Creation Continent's Dragon Soul and Miao Xian's deaths at the hands of the 9th level Holy Beast Xuanwu, and the 2 Supreme Elders Shou Zhen and Wu Sui's deaths at the hands of Xing Hui spread like a storm and swept across the entire Eastern Wasteland world. In the Eastern Wasteland world, the giants who had cultivated to the Saint Realm often considered forming groups and heading to the Heaven Wasteland world together. They wanted to use the rich resources of the Heaven Wasteland world to break through to a higher level. The remaining true energy realm experts were either very attached to their sects and could not bear to leave their homeland. However, there were very few of them. How many people could resist the temptation of the immortal golden pill and live for 3,000 years? Most of the Saint Realm cultivators did not leave the Eastern Wasteland mainly because they had not found a suitable group or were not confident enough in their own cultivation. They were worried that their lives would be in danger if they went overseas. With such a mentality, they naturally had to make the best use of their time and cultivate so that they could step into the transformative realm as soon as possible. They might even not stop and head to the vast Heaven Wasteland world. Since the true energy realm experts could not cultivate in seclusion, the immortal peak prominent divine stage supreme elders were naturally the peak battle force that the various sects used the most. Even the 10 great sects did not have many supreme elders of this level of battle force. For example, the Pharaoh sect, Green Lotus Sword sect, and giant Dragon Mountain Range, there were less than 10 supreme elders of the prominent divine stage on the surface. It was clear that these supreme elders had a high status. But now, because the creation mystical sect was plotting to take over the territory of the Life Moon Alliance in the sea, the Alliance Master of the Life Moon Alliance, Ching Su, took revenge. After that, they actually lost an entire 4 prominent Sage Stage Supreme Elders in a short period of a day. 2 of them were killed by the 9th level Holy Beast Xuanwu, and the other 2 were killed by Tsing Hui himself. For a time, this news, along with the news that Tsing Hui had cultivated the divine grade Golden Crow battle body, instantly spread to every corner of the Eastern Wasteland. After Tsing Hui became the 19th Supreme Elder of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, his name was immediately known by all the cultivators of the Eastern Wasteland. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.